Yeah. Sure, why not?
Okay, what's up, y'all? I know there's no music. We're gonna not have music for now. Guys, I need to do a couple back end things really quickly before we start. But that is also gonna give a couple people uh, 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 some time to get in here. Sweet. Well, thank you for watching my draft analysis, Arch. I appreciate it. It was like a not super well put together one, but that is how my content will be this next month during finals. Um, Let me go. I'm excited for these. I just threw in a message to the Jirachi channel. We're gonna wait probably like 10-ish, I'd say, before we actually start. What's up, dog? I know that voice anywhere.
Hello, dog.
Yo, what's up, Will? Welcome in, bud. Tog, I'm just gonna do a couple back end things before we actually start the analysis, but we are actively live, just so you know.
I got you. Okay, sounds good.
I'm gonna turn your volume down a bit, but should still be good on the stream. Today was nuts. The Boston Marathon's going on, but that is a nightmare for me because I live right near the start of it. So travel was just like absolute nonsense today.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, which is cool. I'm glad we get to do that. Okay, this is what I need. I need to download all of the. I had everything. I thought I had all the coach logos, and I did not. So I just gotta download those real quick. So that'll just take a minute, but we can entertain the chat with our lovely conversation for now.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where you guys put stuff. I kind of already filled out a little tier list thingy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is probably a mess.
Wait, you put D tier.
I have an
only have
act.
one person in D tier, and you're not one of them.
I didn't actually end up ranking them all. I'm gonna rank them. Like I obviously took notes on everything, but I haven't put them into rankings yet. I kind of want to do that live. I think it would be funny.
I got you. Yeah, that's fair.
Anyone who's here, and this will be, I'm not cutting out this intro to the video, so there'll probably be a timestamp to where it actually starts. Sup, Stall, sup, Common Boy, welcome in. Just so anyone watching knows, there's actually absolutely zero hate towards any team we say is bad. In fact, I'm saying my team's not great, and I know that. So, no shame on poor drafts. 90% of the time, a poor draft is one that ends up winning the league. So, there's absolutely not like a comment on anyone's character here. It's just we look at the teams objectively, not thinking about the coaches who drafted them. Just have to get that little bit of a disclaimer. I hadn't. Sup, Tom? Welcome in. I haven't actually streamed on this new laptop yet, which I got. I guess it's been a while now, but I had to. I forgot I had to like redo all my settings on OBS. Which was like actually not as annoying as I thought it would be. However, that's why part of why I needed to push it back a little bit.
I got you. That makes sense.
Taking every negative thing said about my team, taking it very personally. Well, Will, any negative thing we say to you, you should take personally. Anyone else, don't. But yours is absolutely attack on your character. Just let's just be blatant here, right?
Yeah, like you can't be blunt about anything.
Okay, I am almost. I'm getting to the point where I'm about to be good. This is gonna be like a little scuffed, guys. I could have definitely made it like, definitely could have prepped a little bit more before this, but it is. I have like 3 weeks till I graduate, or at least I think I got one more semester I gotta run, but 3 weeks to the end of my last semester technically. So it is just
Hell yeah.
working. 13. I'm missing a logo. 4, 5, 6, 7,
What are you
8,
missing?
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
You would have to ask if you do that.
I don't know who I'm missing. So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
You get the
Um,
updated Quark Driver ones.
Yeah,
is that
I
what-
did. I got the right one. I have the correct one now. But that's
That's the
okay.
only one that's changed. I have no idea.
Wait, I don't want to make a template. I hate tier list maker. It's so annoying. Single use template.
Yeah.
Choose files. Coach logos. It's not mine. Oh, it's Vortex's. Of course it is. Of course it is. Is that really the one it was? Hold on. Oh my god. What an ass. It totally is. I don't have that logo anywhere.
Well, he doesn't post it.
Can-
There are not a lot of it, so-
Can one of you guys do me a favor and try and find it? Because I need to.
I'm
Like-
sending it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me see. Look, give me-
Yeah.
Oh god, wait, does that not? Oh, man-made.
uh,
Let me try and hang on.
Art saying that was 10 times more prep than I do for my draft analysis. That's so fair. Okay, I need to do this, and I need to bring it out. I don't know what like tier system you guys had going. I have S, A, B, C, D. But we can add in more or take in or remove some after.
I went S through D
Yeah, perfect. Exactly.
in that alphabetical order.
Yeah, exactly what I
As
did
the
too.
alphabet goes.
Cool.
Look, is he in the? Is he in the? I know he has 2 teams. Is he in Furnace or his other team?
I think he's Grookies for this draft.
Yeah, he's the rookies.
Shit.
Because he has 2.
Yeah. That's
Uh, Will, that is not a BP. That is a Poncho and Tog. You cannot be an S tier just for stall. But I appreciate your gumption. Okay, window capture. That button. This button. This one. It's a little big. Let's make this. Do you guys like my live editing? I think it's really funny when I do this.
It's great.
I think it's hilarious.
All right. I found the logo. I'm gonna DM it to you real quick.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then I have to do. I'm gonna be adding in all the team's images as we go, and I definitely should have done that beforehand. But at least I have them all. I hate when my files. Okay.
I know I saved it. No. Wait a minute.
Shady, you're first, homie. I don't even know if Shady's here. But Shady is first. Guys, how's this layout look? It's
I like it.
really funny to me. Okay, we'll bring this central. We'll bring this
There we
here.
go. All right.
Call it
I got you, Matt.
sweet. Okay. Bam. Save image. PNG.
Unit of a team.
Bam. How do I add? Oh, there we go. Hopefully you guys can't see my files. How fun would that be? Okay, now it's in. Okay, let me get my nonsense set up. Oh, can't do that now. There you go, that should work. If there are any like messages for me in like mod chat, guys, I'm not gonna see them, but I will see the live chat. Okay, are you guys ready? We're gonna wait a few minutes, just kind of let it populate for a second. But I should be good on my end.
I'm good here.
Got all my info pulled up.
Sweet.
I also have all my info, which is none of it.
Great.
Oh.
That's how we rock it.
Oh, we're winging this.
Can someone in the chat let me know? Can you guys hear Tog and Poncho okay? I can fix their volumes if you can't. I just cannot tell.
Been over this. Asian crown is not part of the
You know, I don't
been
know.
over this.
It came
You
to a
were
battle.
there.
It came to a battle.
It did come 4 turns.
That's so funny. Okay, click this button. Okay, just for you two, how I think we are going to do this is it's going to be casual. We just can't sit on any one team for too long. I don't really care how long the video is, but I also know Tog is a battle in a couple hours that I want to get him to.
Tom's video at least over 2 hours.
Okay, they both need to be turned up. Got it. Let me see what I can do. Okay, well, Poncho's up all the way. I don't know how to help you there. Tog is up all the way. But what I think it is... Hold on, I fixed it. It's just my desktop audio is too low. Okay, you guys should chat away, and hopefully that you sound better, and I can turn them up more if I need to.
All
yeah,
right.
no way, and hopefully people can hear me. I don't know.
I help people, yeah.
I can even turn you up even more.
All 8 people can hear me.
Okay, they should be good now, but we're just gonna wait for half a second to make sure that is in fact the case. Tell Poncho to shout.
Why would I shout? Arch, I can't do that. I'm not going to do that.
Okay, someone in the chat let me know if they are better than they were a minute ago. If not, I can play on it for a little bit more, but I've exhausted my solutions.
My extremely expensive headset just doesn't put out the audio, apparently. It's fine.
See, the thing I can hear, yeah, it's good. Okay. Yeah, no, I can hear you guys okay, and it looks like they can hear you now too. Okay.
Yeah, looks like we're good.
We're gonna I have kind of notes, but I'm kind of just gonna look at each team objectively as they come. Poncho has a little bit more put together notes, and then Tog is winging it. So I think we kind of fit the trifecta there.
Let's not be dramatic. I don't have that many notes. I just took screenshots of readily available information.
Cool. So game plan is I'm gonna run through. I'm just gonna say what people drafted, so people are just listening to this. They can hear it. I am going to make a note that we've been streaming for. Wait, I'm gonna wait 2 seconds. Okay, now this is the timestamp that I'm gonna send the YouTube video to know that we're gonna start. Let's talk about it. Guys, we're gonna talk about Shady. So Shady, is this Shady? This is not Shady's first season with us. I believe it's his.
Oh, it says it's second, I believe.
Second.
Yeah, he was at least for that season.
And Shady got first. We're gonna go in draft order, guys. So Shady got first round pick. Picked up Zacian. Also got Garchomp, Palafin Hero. Palafin Hero. It's Palafin. That's what it says on the thing. Darkrai, Petrod, Terrakion, Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Executor, Scyther, and Mousehold. So I'll say a couple things first, and then pass it off to you guys. Obviously, getting Zacian as a first-round pick, I think is fantastic. I do think it's the number 1 first-round pick. Maybe it was in debate with Rayquaza, Groudon, whatever. I think this was the best first-round pick, for sure. It's a pure fairy type. It is able to hold an item, right? Because it's not the crowned one. That's how that works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is a that's the one to talk about, right? It's pure fairy type, has very good stats all across the board, and can hold an item, which is ridiculous. And having a fairy dragon core of Zacian Garchomp, I think is super, super scary, but they don't have a steel type to round that out, and it hurts my soul, because I think this team is offensively just so powerful, but not having a steel type to help with Garchomp and Zacian cannot resist fairy type moves, and in fact, you're gonna find that this draft
That's rough. Yeah.
struggles.
I'm extremely confident. I'm extremely confident that Zacian was supposed to be a steel type.
Yeah,
it's just not. I'm also pretty sure they thought the Garchomp was Terra legal.
Yeah,
right.
And they did find that all out.
That was their first attempt to make Terra.
Yeah, they found that all out during Grace, and then I think they still found it a good team. So overall, I think offensively, this team is awesome, right? Zacian, Garchomp, Palafin, with then Terrakion and Ogerpon on the back. Those are some scary physical attackers. You still have great special offense with Darkrai, and don't sleep on Trick Room Executor in this team. Like offensively, I think it's great. Defensively, I think it has a lot lacking. The two main things, right, are the ice type weaknesses and the flying type weaknesses. They have no flying resist on this team at all. And now Terracion's able to deal with it because it is part rock type and it can Terra into a steel type. But Terrakion doesn't typically want to Terra into a steel type or an electric type that resists flying type because it's already weak to ground before Terra. That's like the biggest weakness I saw. And then it's also a crazy ice weakness as well. I think that's less of an issue when you have a Palafin, you have an Ogerpon, you have a Terrakion that can Terra into a pure fighting type. Like it's not going to resist, but you're able to beat it offensively. But just having no resistances to flying type, like there's any one type that's able to deal with a team in and of itself. Like I think that's a huge hole that needs to be patched, and you can't really get out of that with Terra Terrakion. That's like the main thing I saw for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like I think the offense is pretty evident. Like their speed tiers are kind of like laughably high, going from like 138 to 100 is like 8 of their mons, and then they have Petron and Executor as their only Pokemon under 100 speed. So like of course they're missing some bulk there besides just the natural bulk of some of the Ubers. But like that team's outspeeding you. It just is.
I completely agree, and I actually think the Executor pick here is really strong. Like it doesn't seem like it would be, but like this is a team that Trick Room's gonna come in and eat. Right, but you have a 55 base speed Executor that offensively is relatively strong. It's decent coverage and good stab moves. Like Second and Grass aren't great offensively, but they hit most things as a pair for at least neutral. I do think if you go against a Calyrex Ice team, this team loses immediately.
They're switching his Palafin.
They're switching his Palafin, and everything is slower. I think Petron has a really good shout on this team defensively as well, but like. You have
I guess Petron's probably the answer, actually.
Yeah, but like you have that ice type weakness and you have that Trick Room weakness, and it's like it's one team, right? We can't say this team's bad because they're only going to lose to Calyrex, but at the same time, I think on the special side they're lacking in offense. I think especially defensively, Zacian is their best Spadafmon, which is actually crazy. Like outside of Zacian, it's like Ogerpon is decent Spadaf. Petron can do it if they try. I think just this team is hyper offense, right? And that's okay in UBERS. That's how you want to run it. But you have zero switch-ins to like a ton of mons. So if Zacian can't deal with everything that's in front of it, you're going to lose a mon every other turn.
Yeah, they only can really switch into resisted hits because their Pokemon do have natural bulk. It's just they're missing, actual defense stats.
Yeah,
that you kind of hope for.
I do love the core of Terra Terrakion and Darkrai Petron. I think that's actually going to make really scary to deal with, right? Like, individually, there's not a single mon on this team that I feel comfortable dealing with. Even Scyther. Like you don't... Like, Scyther's kind of the weak one on this team, but Scyther's able to do some stuff with an EVLite, with heavy-duty boots. It's able to be, like, a good U-turn, pivot mon, getting into things like Zacian and Darkrai. And Darkrai, Petron, and Terrakion pretty much cover each other's weaknesses tenfold. They cover each other. The only thing there's another big old ground weakness. You have Executor, you have Scyther that's able to be resisted or immune, but you're not bringing those mons every week. And then you have no other resistances in your top 7, which I think's kind of scary. You do have I think Mousehold here might be underrated a little bit. And you have good hazard remover, but you don't have great setting. You have decent removal. You're just weak to a lot, man. I'm not trying to dig on you, Shady, but
yeah, the two stealth rockers being Terrakion and Garchomp, and when why would you do 12% with your rocks when you could just hit them with your 130 and 129 attack stats?
Exactly.
That's not really where you want to be playing.
Yeah. I do think Terra Terrakion's kind of sick. I didn't really look at that before, and at 11 points, I think that might be a steal. There's better Terra Captains left on the board, but I also think that's true for my team as well. So I do think that's going to be a kind of cheeky mon here. But overall, I don't want to do it first team. But this was my D tier team.
Yeah, I had this one in C.
Yeah, I think we can throw it.
Kind of near the bottom of the C, though.
I'm comfortable with C.
Yeah, keep it there for at least for now. Yeah.
Right, who's next?
But I could definitely understand the D tier.
Okay, on to the next one. I'm literally gonna put them in like over each other for a minute. Pick 2. We got that Common Boy. Common Boy. This is, I believe, also his second season. I am out to get him after that match that we had last season. Which I'll complain about because it annoyed me, but I don't even know if I won that game outside of it. But Common Boy got Calyrex Ice as the first round pick and then made 8 billion changes in Grace. So it follows with Shaman Sky, Goldengo, Gouging Fire, Grimmsnarl, Terra Slowking, Mienshao, Cleavor, Sandy Shocks, and Kamala. I'll let one of you guys start off for this one.
I think Terra Slowking is an interesting choice, but like not a bad one necessarily. It's just I haven't seen it before.
So. Yeah, agree. We were talking about his Terra choice for a while, and it came down to like the rest of his options liked their typing. It was like Terra Goldengo likes its typing. Sandy Shocks was a potential Terra captain. But this is one of the few defensive Terra captains. There's a couple, but this is one of the few defensive Terra captains. I don't actually hate it. I think it's really interesting. Terra Soaking with regen and chilly reception into Calyrex Ice. Being able to like plan to hard counter any of the things that beat Calyrex Ice one-on-one defensively, I think is like a strategy I didn't really look at before, and I think it could be really strong.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I definitely expect the Slowking Calyrex combo to come in every week. Basically, those guys are by themselves like the core of the team for sure.
Yeah,
right,
for sure. And like when you see Calyrex, you see Trick Room team, right? You see Calyrex Slowking, and then like, Swallow, maybe Grimmsnarl. The kind of like, I mean, I think this team's super strong. The one problem I have with it though is it's not a Trick Room team. It's like a really fast hyper offense team plus Trick Room. Calyrex Ice is kind of going to be hurting Shaman Sky, going to be hurting Gouging Fire a little bit, going to hurt Mienshao, going to hurt Sandy Shocks with the Trick Room. Goldengo I think will be fine with it. Cleavor I think will be fine with it. Grimmsnarl might even like it. But like it's got a lot of bulk in good places. It's got great spear trees, right? Shaman at 127 all the way down to 30 in Slowking, and you pretty much fill in every tier there. There's a little bit of a gap between Grimmsnarl and Goldengo, but I don't think that really matters.
I was more concerned about the gap between the 127 and the 105.
Which is totally fair. Like that's a huge space in there that anything above 106 or above that can deal with Shaman Sky is going to be able to run Adamant or Modest. But again, that Trick Room, if they set Trick Room and want like if they want to set it with Slowking, they're only getting 2 turns with it with Calyrex. When they want to set it with Calyrex, it's going to kill a couple mons and then die, and then there's only 1 or 2 turns left that they're fast ones to have to deal with Trick Room. So AP saying Trick Room being only 3 turns in singles, it's not that huge of a deal, and I do agree.
That's yeah. And Cali Ice is not dying to 1 or 2 attacks generally anyway. Unless
exactly.
It's the thing is too big of numbers.
Yep. There are a couple core weaknesses on this team, right? Like a big ground type weakness, kind of. Like they do have the Shaman Sky, which deal with ground types 99% of the time. It's just a lot of the offensive ground types have an ice type coverage move, whether that's the all 3 forms of Dawn Fan. Some of them have Ice Fang. Right outside of Shaman, they have no resist or immunity, and Slowking, like Slowking can Terra into a resist, sure, which I actually think it will want to do most of the time. Oh,
yeah,
not most, but a lot of the time.
Mainly concerned about what they do about the Groudon.
Yeah, and 100%. And
it kind of just clicks, and Shaman Sky, can be a switch into the ground move if you predict it, but like.
You get a heat crash
sometimes it's an overheat or a heat crash.
Yeah, and I mean, look at Groudon. It's Calyrex, Shaman, Goldengo, Gouging. It beats all 4 of those comfortably.
Yeah, pretty confidently. At least Shaman can come in and revenge kill it or something. And
yeah, what were we gonna say?
I forgot already. My bad.
That's okay. I do think Grimstar on this squad, I really like. Like, I really like this team with screens. I love gouging with screens. I think gouging fire might be could be relatively strong as like a bulky dragon type offensive mon because it's not afraid of the hyper offense fairies, right? I think screens Goldengo being able to get up a couple nasty plots, get off a couple recovers for free without dying immediately could be really strong. And then not to mention Calyrex Ice in the snow with the defense boost plus like light screen, that could get out of hand very, very quickly.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Even if you're not running the Trick Room Cali, you're just running like general Swords Dance bulk.
Yeah.
Nothing kills it if you're running some light screen into the snow.
100%. Not having a normal type. Oh, well, they do have a normal type. They do have Komala. They have Komala? No, guys, that's supposed to be a Swallow. No, that's supposed to be a Swallow on my screen. I'll fix that in post before I upload it.
Yes.
I'm like, they don't have Komala. They have Swallow because I dropped it to get. So I apologize. This is an outdated screenshot. Hopefully, I don't have any others. Oh God.
Which also makes it so their only hazard removal is Cleafor.
Right.
And I guess that's probably fine, especially if you're playing offense. But
with it only being Cleafor, I don't think it's great. However, at least they have one, right?
Yeah, they're threatening it at least.
Yeah. I was going to mention the same thing. Only having Cleafor as removal is fine, and not having a normal type makes them a little bit weak to ghost types. But I think Grimmsnarl is going to come 90% of the time, and Slowking's going to Terra out of that ghost weakness. So I think it's okay. This team doesn't like taking huge offensive shadow balls, but I think Grimmsnarl is going to have a very big role in this team. But I think it's okay. I think it can carry that weight.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you guys have this in your rankings? To me, this is like a solid team. It's like overall, it's going to be really difficult to break down. There's not a ton of huge glaring weaknesses except for the ground type weakness, which I think is a big one. Which I think that weakness alone drops it down a tier.
I think.
Yeah, go.
I'm thinking like B tier. Personally.
Yeah, I was going low B, high C, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I was thinking like high B, so we can meet in the middle. Let's put it in the B tier and call it a day.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Let me just. I do want to make sure before we move on, I read any of the comments on what people are saying. Tom said, "Yeah, I like the Terra Slowking with Cali. Psyche is just a really bad defensive typing. Being able to go pure water gives it defensive typing plus a stab boost. I completely agree." Calyrex might be forced to run boots a lot. I do agree. I was thinking that earlier. This team is going to want to run a lot of boots. Calyrex, Shaman, Gouging are going to want boots. And we didn't really talk about the last four, to be fair, because this is such a top 6 heavy team, right? Mienshao, Sandy, Cleavor, Swalot. How much are they going to be brought? I don't know. Sandy might be brought every now and again, but without Terra, it struggles. But I do agree this team needs to run heavy-duty boots a lot, but I don't know if that's a huge problem. I think that's okay.
Mienshao is just part of the secret regenerator core.
Oh yeah, it is technically a sad little regen core.
It has it, I guess.
On a technicality. Okay, let me add in. Oh god, how embarrassing this is gonna be if I don't have updated screenshots. I mean, I'll just take them live again. That's not a big deal. No, this is updated. Okay, cool. We're going to the homie AP, and I do believe AP is in chat. AP, say hi if you are. But AP was our third round draft pick. Third pick in the first round. Got Rayquaza, which was would have been my first round pick personally. I think it's a fun mon. Paired with Iron Treads, Greninja, Terra, Necrozma, Galarian Weezing, Rotom Heat, Tinkaton, Spectrier, very late round Spectrier, Porygon 2, and Hitmon top.
I think this team's fantastic. I think this team's fantastic. It has literally no weaknesses across the board. It's like a green bar, basically. Yeah. Its speed tiers hit every single speed tier. It's got mixed attack, physical and special attack all throughout. Multiple stealth rockers, 3 ways of clearing hazards. Great pivot option. I don't know. This team's nuts to me.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, they have AB Meat Rider. What do you want from me?
Yeah. If BP was here, he'd be so mad at us about how much we hype up AP every time he drafts. I think this is his best team, guys.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if it's close. There's a couple really strong teams in this draft. This is a ridiculous core.
This team is nasty.
Yeah, like he's missing a couple types, right? Doesn't have an ice type, doesn't have a grass type, doesn't have a bug type, so like maybe he's a little bit ground weak. But even then, has 3 ground immunities. Like Weezing's not going to want to run Levitate every week. Rotom, he's not going to want to come every week. But you have Rayquaza, right? And Rotom's a ground type immunity that's not weak to ice types, which I think is a bit like this team just kind of flows in and out with each other fantastically. And I think speed tiers are great too, right? You have Spectria at 130. I think Spectria is a little bit of a fraud, especially for 20 points, but I think
I agree, but still.
It's like still Spectria being like draft pick 8 out of 10. Like he's like, I don't care how much it costs, I wanted a ghost type. Having like 130 base speed and then 120 with Greninja, who again I think Greninja's too many points, but it fits this team really well, right? It can spike stack or it can be a protein sweeper, or a battle bond sweeper. That's what I meant to say. Iron Treads hits 106. You have a couple in the 90s, a couple in the 80s, a couple in the 70s, a couple in the 60s. Like speed tiers are perfect. A crazy what I think. Fairy Dragon Steel Core and Rayquaza Treads Weezing or Rayquaza Treads Tinkaton. Like defensively, all 3 of those mons are going to be able to come in for each other and then hit. Like they're not going to just be a defensive core that can't do anything back. I don't know, man. I think that I just think Rayquaza Iron Treads alone is ridiculous.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah,
I have very little downsides to say on this team. Like it just. Yeah. I don't know.
AP was saying defensively, I just tried to stack as many immunities on my utility guys as possible, which makes total sense, right? You have Tinkaton that's immune to Dragon, Rotom that's immune to ground type. You have P2 that's immune to Ghost, Spectria that's immune to normal. Hitmontop might be the weak link here, but you know what? I still think Hitmontop's good. It's got Bullet Punch for the fairy type. It can run AV. You have 3 great removal options here in Hitmontop, Galarian, Weezing, and Iron Treads. Like you're not worried about hazards being stacked on you. You have grounded poison type in Weezing if you just want to run neutralizing gas. You have a great spikes stacker, 4 great stealth rockers. Like Rayquaza gets stealth rock, and we're not even talking about Terra Necrozma. Like Terra Necrozma is probably the best defensive Terra in my mind in the format.
Yeah.
Name a way a Pokemon can set up. Necrozma has that move.
Yeah.
It just plan. How do you want to deal with it? I've got in Victini as well. I am hoping it doesn't suck. Not Terra, but
Yeah.
Close enough.
I mean you're 100% right. Like Necrozma, just like Rayquaza Iron Treads. The only downside I think I could say is offensively this team might be lacking a tiny bit. Like this team is very strong, bulky offense, but Rayquaza at like 150 attack in both physical and special is fantastic. Then it drops a little bit on the physical end, right? You have Necrozma at 107, you have Iron Treads at 112. Iron Treads doesn't always want to run offensively. On the special side, you're a lot better, right? You have Necrozma at 127 and Spectria 145 with Rotom that can run specs. But like maybe it's a little bit offensively shallow. But I really don't think that's gonna be a problem. You have setup options in all these guys. You have so much bulk on this team. You can run like offensive Calm Mind Necrozma. You can run like banned Protein Greninja.
Don't sleep on the 105 special attack Porygon too.
Yeah, I mean you're right though. Like throw a little trick room on there, call it a day. By the way, I disagree that Terra Garganacl's better than Necrozma. I know they're saying Garg is better in the chat, and I think they just do 2 different things. I don't think it's better. I think they're equal, right? Garganacl is a true Fizz Def and really both defenses like a wall, but Necrozma is going to take hits and offensively be a lot stronger than Garganacl is, while taking less hits than Garganacl is. I think they do slightly different things. I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else to say on this team. I just think it's like it's not frail.
How many more minutes do you want to glaze AP's team?
Yeah, I don't want to anymore.
And put it in S. What do you want from me?
Let me just, Where's his logo? What's his team? There it is. It's S. Whatever. Moving on. We don't care.
Yeah.
Who's next? That is Big Vortex. Wow, what a loser being late. Not late, but not putting his thing in the chat. I feel like he did. I feel like I did see it and I just missed it.
It's got to be somewhere.
Okay, I'm gonna list off the team. Let one of you guys take it because then I need to get some water. But Vortex got the Sun team, right? Groudon. I'm actually a little bit surprised Groudon didn't go earlier. Vortex got Groudon with Terra Walking Wake, right? Starting off that Sun core with Cinderace, Hatterene, Suing Lilligant, Scissor, Staraptor, Rotom Wash, Gengar, and Sneasel. I'm gonna mute myself but keep my camera on.
Sun scary. Like
that looks like an incredibly strong Sun team from him.
As you get the Walking Wake. I don't know what more. Cinderace
you
hit
get
those
Walking
strong.
Wake, get the freaking Cinderace and the Hatterene to just keep hazards off, like.
Right. Yeah, his hazard removal is good. The hazard setting is a lot more questionable, but
like
it's just Groudon with Stealth Rocks. But
yeah, right. But like
he's more playing the hazards are going to be on nobody's side, and if they are, they're going to be on your side.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Which I think that's a totally fine game to play.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how you play Cinderace. Is you'll let them put them up, you give them back if you really want to, and if you're even concerned about it.
Right, exactly. Like Tom's saying, do it like 2 points. Diesel is a great value pick for him.
Dude, what are you guys talking about? I don't get it at all.
What?
I don't know if I'm just a hater. Sneasel sucks. Like Sneasel's not a good
It's
mod.
a fast. It's a small Weavile.
If you tickle it, it dies.
Okay, but
if you tickle Weavile, it dies.
Yeah, and I don't think Weavile's going to be great in this format. I think it could be
Weavile's fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe I just don't like. I've drafted Sneasel before. Like I don't think Sneasel's going to come to a single game. Like not one.
I disagree. I'm sorry.
No,
I disagree.
it's definitely coming.
I disagree. I'm sorry.
The week when knockoff looks good, he's gonna spam it.
If it's gonna come to a game, then it's gonna die immediately. Not gonna kill.
Okay, no,
it'll knock off item,
triple axle, kill a dragon,
and
die. Maybe to be fair, I hope I'm proving wrong. I love that mon. I just think it sucks. But I agree with
it's gonna get a couple kills this season. Mark my words. It's gonna do something.
No chance.
At some point.
It's not gonna get any kills when you have Groudon Wake. They're gonna steal every kill you need.
It's faster. Okay, think about it. It's faster than all the Uber, faster than like Rayquaza, Zekrom, whatever. Just hit triple axle and do some massive damage to it that way.
Yeah, or you just run E-Speed Rayquaza and you kill it.
Actually, if it's Sash, he lives. They get nice triple axle shard.
Fair enough. See, Arch is on my side. I don't get the Sneasel here. It kills most of the momentum this team wants to build. Bam! Exactly. Not what I was thinking, but you said it better than me. But I agree with what you guys saying hazard-wise. Like, I don't think I think having not a lot of hazards is not a problem. You have Cinderace that can put them on there.
I don't know. Just from the couple games we've seen so far, I kind of think hazards are a bit fraudulent this season. I think everyone's basically playing hyper offense.
Yeah.
And, oh well, you got toxic spikes on me. I don't really care. Everything dies in one hit anyway, basically. Like
yeah, 100%. This is another one of the teams that's like, I think Super Flying Week. However, less so than the other teams. Like Rotom Wash is going to be able to come pretty consistently.
It's hard not to be Flying Week a lot of times.
Yeah, what is up with that this gen? Like,
I don't know.
Like at least he doesn't have that many weaknesses to it. It's really just the Lilligant. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
If you throw like a Scarf Bravebird mon on here, it's gonna be scary. Or a Rayquaza with that. What flying with this Rayquaza? I get actually no idea.
Dragon Ascent.
Is that
right?
It's not Dragon type, right? That's flying type.
No, it's flying type. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty sure.
Like that'll be scary, but at that point you can run Terra Electric or Steel Wake, which I think are going to come often, right? Steel Wake is going to be nice for the fairy types. Electric Wake is going to be nice for the other water types. I do think Terra Walking Wake is probably one of the better Terra captains in this format, specifically paired with Groudon, right? I think every Groudon team we have seen drafted had Terra Walking Wake in all 4 divisions, at least in 3 of the divisions.
I'm not entirely sure about Victini. I don't remember, even though I played that guy literally this week.
Fair enough.
Let me go check just for.
Yeah, I think part of the flying weakness comes with Scissor, right? I love Scissor and I love Fortress, and they're great mon. But the one problem with you Steel type also being a bug type is you can't resist flying types. But I don't think it's a huge problem because there's not a ton of like super offensive flying types. You do have like the Torrent, which can Terra into a flying type, so that's going to be scary for a lot of teams, and we'll get into that later. But I think that's one of the more undervalued picks in this draft. But like utility wise, Vortex has great removal, right? It's got Court Change and Cinderace and Defog and Scissor. That's all you need. It has every status under the sun, right? Like Hatterene with Nuzzle. Oh, and Hatterene has Magic Bounce too for hazards. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was.
Yeah. And like crazy Dragon Phrase Steel Core in my mind of Wake, Hatterene, Scissor. I think they all have value. I love Hatterene. I don't know if it's going to be great in UBERS. I think it's a really cool mon that kind of struggles to make things happen. But Groudon Wake alone is going to do so much damage. With then fastest steering Lilligant, you can throw a Band Hustle on there. You can go Chlorophyll Sleep Powder. You can go Chlorophyll Victory Dance. You have the Rotom Watch as a pivot option. You have Gengar here if there's like a Ghost weakness. I don't know if Staraptor comes a lot. I don't know if Sneasel comes a lot. But they both have value in why they're here, right? They both have good resistances. Staraptor's a great Ghost resistance because it can actually hit it back with Flying type moves. I think this is like a really solid, well-rounded team. There's not a ton of huge underlying weaknesses in anything there are. I do think Terra Walking Wake's going to be able to deal with 90% of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me just check the comments here. Victini got Terra Wake and Fluttermane. Damn. Did it also,
yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about what Zethus has been doing.
They got Groudon, Fluttermane, and Terra Wake? What did you guys let happen down there?
I can't. I don't know. I almost took Fluttermane the first round, and it didn't happen. And now we're dealing with this. I don't know why no one took it after me.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Art said...
It's...
Sorry, say it again. No, continue.
No, I don't want to talk about Zethus as a team anymore.
Okay. Art said... Ghost spam feels very good on this team, and I do completely agree. The only ghost resistance is Sneasel, and the only immunity is Staraptor, and neither of those want to come every week. So that is true. If there's like, I guess Annihilate wasn't drafted in Jirachi, but nope. The Giratinas, the Spectre is going to be a little bit scary for this team to deal with for sure. If they don't bring Staraptor, because they're all going to be able to hit Staraptor for some other way. So like. It's something to note, but I don't think that is a huge detriment to the team because there's not a ton.
Vortex also already won against Fluttermane, right?
Say it again.
I said Vortex won against Fluttermane already. Week 1, right?
Try not to spoil the week 1 games, but whatever. No, you're fine.
Well, my bad.
No, you're okay. I mean, we said it, so say it again. This team did already beat the Fluttermane team. Now, not comfortably, mind you. We won't say what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. It did totally. I think this is an A team tier for me. Art said he got lucky. Tiny bit. I think this is an A tier team for me. Maybe high B. I don't think it's S tier. But I think it's very solid with not a ton of weaknesses. It might just be like a little frail for me. Like it doesn't have a ton of defenses.
I don't think it goes below A personally.
Yeah. I think it's A as well. You know?
Cool.
I think it's a solid A.
Let's throw it in A then. All right. Well, next is me. I'm gonna let you two. I gotta put it up. I'm gonna let you two talk about this, and then I'll answer any questions you guys have. And
I think it's mandatory to talk about how there's a Terra Espathra. It's bad. It's a fraud.
It's not.
What
it's
else?
not.
What else? What are you supposed to? I don't know. Vortex. What am I supposed to say?
Outrageous. All right. You guys take it away. Oh wow, we got S, A, B, and C so far. All right, take it away with my team. By the way, say whatever you want. I know this team's not like. Incredible.
It's I think its OU defensive core is nutty in OU. I question its defensive coreness in UBERS, in Clefable, Hippowdon, Skarmory. It's obviously like they eat, their typing super well, but like I think the big numbers of UBERS might push through it, the 150 attacks and all that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
As
Like, I think it's a very well-rounded team you got. I'll say. You got your big hitters like Urshifu, freaking Giratina, or Aquinid even.
Yeah, I think, especially Urshifu single strike behind webs is lights out.
I mean, I agree with what all you guys are saying.
Oh, that's good. I do. I think it's a bit slow, but I guess I think Araquanid's sick. So I love Araquanid a bunch.
Yeah, it's a good mod.
It's so good.
It
eats every hit for no reason. It kills everything for no reason, and it sets up webs.
Yep.
Dude was a monster week 1.
Cowboy saying Arbok's the only good mod here. What do we think about that?
Arbok's cool, man. This is dope, dude. And
Intimidate's a good ability. Yeah.
Intimidate gets like Glare. Glare's
yeah.
Great move.
Common Boy, you gotta be up in my team here. I dropped Swalot so you could get it. You gotta be like praising me now. Arch said, I don't get the hippo in here, all honesty, and I feel ya. There are 2 reasons I got hippo specifically. One was I needed a ground type. I'm not expecting to bring in a lot, but it was a ground type that still gave me like support with Stealth Rock Slack Off, because it hits really hard with Earthquake. Secondly, I showed my girlfriend the board, and I was like, hey, find the ground type for me, and she was like, that one's brown. And I was like, hey, Hippowdon's kind of cool. I should probably gotten Donphan, because it's a point less and does more.
I think Hippowdon's a solid mod.
I think Hippowdon definitely eats stuff better, and you have like already really good removal in Terapagos and Skarmory and Giratina if they want to.
I think Hippowdon's solid. I don't think it's drafted enough, so I'm happy you picked it up.
Cool. I like it.
It does have the recovery, which is different.
If anyone's interested in my deep thoughts on this team, I did just upload my draft breakdown. This team has a lot of weaknesses, right? I am pretty flying weak. I do have Skarmory that can actually deal with it better than some of the other mons. But I don't have an electric type. I don't have a good knockoff mon. Clef counts. So that's another reason. Stahl said Terra Rock Espathra for the defense boost. That's kind of heat, actually. Because I've been considering Terra Rock like a bunch of weeks.
That's
Psychic Rock's not a bad stab combo either. I mean, walled by steel actually, but we don't want steel.
That is Espathra's normal issue is the steel.
We ignore that.
I'm reading some of the comments. AP said, probably the slowest team in the draft. You're completely right. I did the math, and you're right.
Definitely true.
My fastest mon's 105 at Espathra. However, that was slightly done intentionally. Obviously, Espathra has speed boost, and I think the 2 mons, I think here, Giratina Origin, dude, I love this thing. I think it's going to be so much fun. I don't know if it'll be great. I think it's just cool. I think it's the coolest. Outside of Trevenant, it's like the coolest Pokemon. And I think it's bad.
I was with you till the Trevenant, but I'll let it slide.
Oh, you haven't been around for the lore.
No, I saw last season. I got it.
It's been
before that, homie.
Did it go 2-7 last season?
Yeah.
I watched the Niv game. It's fine. I was there for it.
But you know what? It did well. It did other things.
Yeah, I bet it did. It's a cool tree.
Tom says Sandbreaking Terror Shell is a big brain move.
Right. That was the one thing. I was like, I gotta bring Sandforce because I don't want to bring Terror Shell. I think
I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious.
I think Espath is going to be solid. I think it's going to be. I mean, it almost. I won't spoil the result of week 1 for me, but it almost swept. I
thought it was going to.
I didn't want to. I could have clicked Calm Mind again. I didn't want to risk a crit. Then the end result was close, so maybe I should have anyway. My team's super slow, and Web's going to help with it, but I don't have a great way of. Scaring away defog. I do have good rapid spin immunities in Giratina, and I think Giratina, Terapagos, Urshifu, I think that front 3 is they just help, they're a beautiful circle. They just help with all of each other's weaknesses. But I agree. I think Clef's like an average fairy type in UBERS. I really liked it when I used it. I think Skarmory is like one of the weaker links, but it helps me against this steel types. I think this is like a C tier team. I really like it, and I think it would be a ton of fun to use. And I think it's like an S A tier team. I know it's not. And other people have been like, it's average at best. So I am comfortable putting it in C.
All right, yeah, we can do that.
But
that is where I
But
had
you
it,
guys have to pick if it's going above or below.
I think high C is appropriate.
I had it in C.
I think C, but I think we put above Shady's at the very
Destroys.
least.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, Tom, I can do you next because you're about to do your little cup battle. Let me just find your team. That is totally cool.
Skipping ahead, there's a couple more ahead.
Yeah, Tom is actually the second to last pick, but we will just get his out of the way. Can you put an F tier? No, I cannot, because you're going to lose to it. AP, do we play this season? I don't actually think we do. I don't think we play this season. I hope we do, because I think I can beat your team. Okay, we are going to talk about Tom's team, which I do have to go and find that in my notes, but I believe it's this one. It's not that one. I believe it's this one. It's not that one. I believe it's this one. Where's Tom's team? Tom? Okay, there it
Got
is.
a Mewtwo.
Mewtwo, Zamazenta Crown, Mandibuzz, Terra Garganackle, Landorus Therian, Primarina, Reshiram, Shaman, Greedent, Muck. This team is so scary. This team went through a bunch of different iterations in Grace. But to end up with Mewtwo, Zama, Crowned, Terra Garganackle, Reshiram, Primarina?
This is terrifying.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a perfect team by any means. I think offensively, just one of the craziest teams.
Yeah, Tapey says Tom's got the S tier. I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the other S tier team for me.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think I had an A, but it was a high A for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's got to be S.
I think Muck's really good for 2 points. I think Greedent is a Pokemon and has shown to be something that does something, apparently.
For some reason.
Yeah.
I won't disrespect it that much, but it is a squirrel.
This time,
but
like...
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
He's got the... I watched the team breakdown video of his, and he was talking about how much he liked the Zamazenta Crowned Mandibuzz core.
Yeah.
Of just...
Yeah.
They're both going to bounce off. You can't get through both of them.
Yeah. Tom and I were talking a lot during the draft about how he can round out that, like, top three. Because he was struggling to find it a bit, and eventually he settled on Mandibuzz, Zamazenta Crown, Mewtwo, which is a ridiculous Fighting Dark Psychic core. Like, Zamazenta Crown is going to be able to deal with the Dark type the other two struggles with. Psychic types that those two struggle with, Mandibuzz can deal with. Mewtwo can hit everything else. I mean, Mewtwo alone, right? 145 special attack, 130 speed. It's just ridiculous. But then to have a Zamazenta Crown behind it at 128, super bulky, on both ends, and can hit super hard, gets heavy slam, gets body press, so can deal with everything that Mewtwo cannot deal with, except for the psychic types, and Mandibuzz is just able to sit in on those psychic types 100% of the time, whether it's Foul Play or Dark Pulse. It Roost U-turn, Foul Play, and then Defog or Toxic, right? Just those front three can win. I feel like if you brought just those 3 mons, it could beat some of these teams if they brought 6 mons.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the Mandibuzz, Garganackle, and Shaman just are able to sit in front of whatever matchup they like, and they just will not die.
Yeah. Because
Shaman, for 7 points, is ridiculous. Just so bulky. Got, just enough moves that it needs. It's not the most versatile, but it's got, it does what it does. And for 7 points and being that bulky is kind of gross.
Yeah.
I think it gets Healing Wish too, right?
It does.
It sure does get Healing Wish.
And
so you can pop it off on a Zamazenta?
Yeah.
Yeah, you Healing Wish into your Zamazenta, you cry a little bit, I think, because you're like, why is it not dead?
Tom was saying Shaman Healing Wish into Zama is stupid. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, I love
yes,
Shaman, one of my favorite mons. I don't think it's great in Paldea, but I think it fills a perfect role for what this team needed, right? And even with, it's not even here for ground resist. You have Mandibuzz and Lando plus Terra Garganackle. It's not a problem.
Oh, yeah.
And we have not mentioned Reshiram.
We have not.
Yeah, that...
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
no shoot.
150 special attack and then the 120 attack for the sneaky dragon dance sets. They're come maybe a couple times this year, but it just
Definitely,
has
yeah.
so much. The numbers are big, as with cover as he does, and he's got 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think this team's just going to be so hard to deal with defensively, and then on the defensive side of things, Terra Garganackle, right? Being able to Terra into any type it wants. It's going to be able to recover Salt Cure every single mon. It can just kind of come in. AP's like, I don't know how you switch into the Reshiram. I'm like, I agree. I don't know. By the way, I argued Reshiram should have been a gold tier Uber.
I'd argue it's probably better in like Lugia.
I think I would swap places with Lugia. I would have been just fine.
Yeah, I agree. And then Vortex was like, no, Lugia is good. And then Lugia wasn't drafted in like half of the formats.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that at all. But not my league, not my.
Yeah, and that's like Primarina is like great against a lot of the high tier dragons. Now there's a couple more steel types it struggles with, but Moonblast and Surfs are still gonna hurt those mons. Lander's Therian, like an Intimidator that's immune to ground type moves. Obviously it's super weak to ice, but you have Zamazenta and Primarina. And Garganackle to deal with that. This team's like a tiny bit ice freak, but you have Zamazenta that comes on that every time. You have Muck, which is like a great T-Spikes absorber. Who doesn't have Roost? What did I say? I said Roost for some reason.
Reshiram doesn't have Roost.
Did I mean to say Reshiram?
Damn, you fell Dan. I think it used to.
It used to. It doesn't anymore.
I knew that. I didn't even mean to say that, but that's okay.
Damn, you Paldean.
Like Muck, it's a great T-Spikes absorber. It's a great Assault Vest user, gets knockoff, right? And then Greedent. I didn't think this was a Mon, but apparently this is a Mon.
Apparently.
Like
I wouldn't have said that, but apparently it is.
Proof's in the pudding somewhere. Yeah, ice ground coverage is probably this team's one weakness, and I agree. I think ground is not as big of a deal. You have Mandibuzz, Lando, Shaman, and Terra Garganackle, but I do agree ice is probably the one weakness. But if you bring Zamazenta ground, like, there's not many ice types that Zamazenta cannot switch into. And Primarina will also be able to deal with that too. This team, like maybe its hazard setting isn't great. It has a couple no spikes user, a couple rocks users, and Muck for T-Spikes. It only has Mandibuzz for defog. Hazards do not really matter in Paldea, especially in UBERS, I think. I think this team's ridiculous. I do not think it's as good as AP's team. I do think there's enough of a gap between them, but I still think this is our second S tier team.
I absolutely agree.
I'd probably put it top of A, but I won't disagree with the bottom S.
I'll throw it bottom S for now, Tom. We might demote you later if we find. I don't want more than 2 S tier teams. So if we find
by the time he wakes up,
he'll be hard
to
find a better team than this, though. To be fair,
which is so fair. Let's see.
By the time he wakes up tomorrow, you'll be in D tier and it won't be an issue.
AP said the ground hits the mons that take the ice moves. Fair enough.
I have
ground hits Zama.
I do have. We'll get to it.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said, AP doesn't know. I'm telling AP I do have Mammoth, which we'll get to later on.
Yeah, this team does lose to Mammoth wide. Like that's for sure.
That's yep.
I don't know. I fought against Zamazenta crowds before. It eats the earthquake.
Like,
I don't know why it lives the earthquake. It's the numbers are big.
It's coming in. It's clicking body press. Mammoth's dead. Mammoth's not even out shooting that thing with a scarf. I don't think. Maybe it is, but even then, you're not getting the damage output you want from earthquake. You just run Fist F Zaman, you get the defense boost, dude. Mammoth's not touching this thing. Tom said might be biased, but I think having the more offensive team is better in this format. I think more offensive teams are better in this format. I think AP's team is just a tiny bit more well-rounded, and like you have good offense, but you have a couple like AP could bring almost every single mon every week. I don't love Lando. Personally, I think Reshiram will be good, but like some bulky fairy types can deal with it. But I like this team offensively. It's going to beat out every other team below it, and so its damage output is ridiculous. I just don't think it's on the exact same level. Zisa said, I feel like this team can't really recover and if an opponent sets up. That is very interesting. As for disruption, let me go back to that team because that's a good point I want to look at. Maybe
it's kind of actually a decent point.
I mean, Restaurant has Dragon Tail, but you don't want to run it. You do have Landorus, Mandibuzz, Mewtwo, all with Taunt, and you have Encore and Prim. But outside of that, you're like running Haze Muck and Haze Prim. I see your point. I counter it with Terra Garganacl and Zamazenta. Like, I can't think of a specific mon that's going to be able to set up and sweep without them getting in one of these like bulky offense mons and being able to just chunk it down. And yeah, Arch is right. Prim does get Haze as well. It's a good point. Like, and I think that's what puts it below APs. It doesn't have all of the ways to deal with setting up mons. Which mon specifically are you thinking of? Like an Uber setting up is a big risk. Like if there's like a D-dancing like a Zekrom, a little bit scary, but I still think Zama walls that. He said, yeah, those often take a hit. They're weak to at least once. So yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a good point, right? Setup mons are really scary in Ubers, and more scary, I'd say, than the traditional Paldea format. But I think this team will be able to deal with it, and we know Tom's a great battler in and of himself, so he will be able to work around it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, let me pull up my things to go back to the next team because I don't 100% know who it is. That one. It is
I think
Mr.
you're on
TJP.
Mr. TJP.
Yes, I am. Let me just get the right thing up. If anything on my stream doesn't look correct, by the way, like there's a wrong mon somewhere, just let me know. It'll be something I fix in post. We got Mr. TJP, new to Jirachi division, at least, as far as I'm aware.
I think this is his first season here.
Yeah,
in
CDL. So welcome. Started off draft with Iron Bundle, which is a weird pick, but he said he does it for every draft, and it is his. It is a mascot pick. So
it's a mascot. Yeah, I gotta respect. I respect that.
Yeah. And I love Bundle. Don't get me wrong. And then followed by Deoxys Attack, which is nuts. Skeledridge, Gliscor, Milotic, a great defensive core there, and DD Halucha, Terra Halucha within DD. That's nuts. Ogerpon, Muckalola, Cryogonal. I'm going to start it out here with two things. This team is one of the strangest in my mind. There are some huge weaknesses in this team. And I also think this is going to be one of the most underrated teams in the league. There are two reasons for that. One, this team is like horrifically weak to multiple typings. It doesn't have a single flying resist, doesn't have a single rock resist, doesn't have a single dragon resist, has one fairy resist and Skeledurge. Like, super weak to a lot of common typings. What is stopping Psy-Spam Deoxys Attack plus Terra Halucha in Psychic Terrain? I don't know. I don't know if there's anything.
I don't think there is.
Like, this is like one of those drafts where it's like they could bring the same 6 mons every week. You bring Indeedee, Halucha, Dio, Bundle, Dirge, and then like one of Gliscor, Milotic, Ogerpon. And like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to just like bring a rock type, and it's gonna be scary. But Swords Dance, Unburden, Psychic Seed, Halucha, plus Psy-Spam Deoxys Attack with Skeledurge in the back against setup mons. Like, I don't know, dude. That's terrifying to me.
I think this is does hyper offense work? If it does, this is the team that's going to run it the best.
Yeah.
This team is
this
all in. This guy's winning 1-0 every week, but he's winning every week. That's kind of what I'm saying.
You are.
Like,
yeah.
There's not a thought considered on defense. Like high scoring skeleton. Like, nah, those are for pretend.
Yeah, those are not real.
We're gonna do with the Lucha. We do not care.
Yeah, like this team, there's some huge holes, right? As he's saying, Draco Meteor. He was saying this. Zeus thinks this is the worst team, by the way. Which I hear the argument for it. Has no Dragon Resist. Any Draco or Outrage spammer can click it for free. I hear you. 90% of Dragon type users are going to be slower than Iron Bundle that can come in and Revenge Curl with an Ice Beam. Now, if it's Click and Draco, it just switches out. So I get the point. This team, if there's like a setup, like I think Skeletor needs to come every single week to stop Dragon Dance Outrage Mons. I think Halucha is going to be forced to go Terra Fairy a couple more times than it wants to. So I agree. Defensively, there's way too many holes for me to put this in S or even A tier. But this is one of those teams where I wanted to have its own tier of just like, Punchy, you've put it exactly how I wanted to say it. If Hyper Offense is going to work, it works.
It's like, I forget, if you make one misstep, you just lose out straight up.
So Mr. TJP needs to play his ass off to get this team to work well, which I think makes it inherently not a great team. However, the pure damage output of Unburden Halucha with SD, Deoxys Attack, and Ndidi, I think might be theoretically impossible to beat. Now, how do you beat this team? Run a couple focus dashes and call it a day. This team doesn't, it has good hazard steading, but you don't want to do that with Deoxys. So it's really just Gliscor or Ogerpon. Has decent hazard removal rate, has a Cryogonal there. But I'm going to run
You're
6 focus.
You're also not going to bring Cryogonal like more like once or twice.
Right.
I feel like.
I'm going to run Focus Sash on... I'm going to run Focus Sash on 8 of my Mons, and I think I'll be able to beat this team. Especially because Priority absolutely runs through this team. Either of the Giratina, not trying to say like my teams, but either of the Giratina teams, Shadow Sneak beats his team, like outright. Sucker Punch.
That's what the NDD's for.
Yeah, Sucker Punch beats this team if you're able to get the right predictions. I think Halucha is going to play a super huge role here, and Terra Halucha, man, I think can actually be a super underrated, super scary Terra captain. This is just such a weird team, and I like it. I'm so on board for weird teams. The
Halucha does have to get the Sword Stance up basically every time it's from because it only has 90 to attack.
For 100%.
And that's not enough to punch through even offensive Ubers generally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stall has a great priority when Psychic Terrain. Good point, Arch. I forgot about that, and I use Ndidi in doubles all the time. And Ndidi does kind of stop the priority, which is actually kind of interesting.
It's a check of priority, but like it's not infallible at all.
Yeah. Stall put out a good point why Cryogonal instead of a fairy type when you have the points. This is the thing. But TGB has 8 points left over. Now, I'm not one to like knock on people having leftover points. I did my PUDL draft and had like 9 points left over. Now I didn't do great in that league. And maybe that's why. But I think it's okay to have points left over. But I think one of the Ogre Pawns, maybe the Milotic, maybe the Muck, maybe the Cryogonal, just like sack them off, get a really good fairy type. Well, I don't even know if there's good fairy types left. Find the best fairy type left, force it onto this team, and this becomes a much better team. I'm curious. I actually kind of
like
go.
Sorry, I was gonna say off the top of my head, I think like the Auntie's available.
I'm gonna look at the draft board.
Auntie's probably like 8 points. Yeah, I'm literally going to draft board as well.
Like, obviously, it's tough to find good fairy types. Like, Alola Ninetales, man. Being able to get the snow for Iron Bundle, like, Alola Ninetales works in this team a little bit more than I think Ogerpon Cornerstone does. Maybe a little bit more than Cryogonal or Milotic does. And I get you want their Cryogonal for removal. This team shouldn't care about removal ever. You're going to play this team for 12 turns.
Yeah, and also if you really want to, I guess you could go up to 16 points on an Amorous is available.
Yeah.
Just like base Amorous.
But like totally true. Amorous is available. Alola Ninetales is available. I don't think they need to do that to succeed. I think,
but probably not.
But even if you drop Milotic for a Zoomerol, I think that brings this team up to one of the best teams. Without it, I think this is the highest I can put this team is like a low B tier. Even though I think it has the highest potential of any team. But
I can agree with that.
You guys say
also
your piece there.
Screamtail is probably the actual one.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. I do love a Screamtail, especially because in Psychic Terrain. But this and like this team's like super weak to Dark type too.
That would be a third Psychic. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Like this team has so many weaknesses, but you can't look at it objectively of, okay, this team's weak to Rock, weak to Flying, weak to Dragon. You say, okay, this team's going to be able to beat those types offensively. is it going to be in a position where it has to make predictions every other turn, or is it going to be just like if you just get Dio with superpower Psycho Boost, can you just win the game from there? I do want him to bring eject pack Deoxys attack so badly.
Back with the Psycho
That would
Boost.
be cool.
How like
yeah.
or superpower? How cool is that?
That's very cool.
Yeah, Zethus. Zethus, I hear what you're saying I don't see the vision, but I do think it could do really well. I get it. I see the vision, but I agree. I think it could do very poorly if played incorrectly. So I'm gonna throw it bottom of B. If you guys have any, cool. I'm going to throw in the next team, and then I'm gonna go get some water. Because I talk a lot. By the way, if I'm like talking too much, you guys just tell me.
No, you're good, man.
Okay. I'm actually gonna leave it here for a second, let you guys chat while I get water before I put the next team on.
Okay.
Oh, so we're still talking about Montreal. All right. Beautiful city. Shout out to the Canadians.
Yeah, all right. We're still waiting for the screen to pop up here.
But I do agree. You don't have to use all 8 points, but it would kind of be nice if that muck was, a 17-point mon. Gross. More offense.
Oh yeah.
I get the mucks here to eat the dark moves and the psychic moves and the ghost moves and all that.
AP,
definitely agree.
AP, are you from Montreal? You're from Canada? You're from Canada, right? I'm not crazy. Okay. we've got 6 for Axe here. Which I am trying my hardest not to brown nose, but dude, I've watched this guy a ton. And it's so cool to have him.
Definitely watched him in the GBA.
Yep. Classic.
Way too long ago.
Que Paso. But let's talk about it. So Hacks got Terra Dragonite first pick, which is AP's from Toronto, but it is from Canada, so I am correct. And this is his favorite team. This is one I think this team. We'll talk about it. Terra Dragonite, which is terrifying. Dragapult, Ho-Oh as their Uber, Tinglu, Tentacruel, Jirachi, Decidueye, Masquerade, Gardevoir, and Primeape. This is the team I think that can push Tom down to A. But you guys take it away to start.
Round 3 Ho-Oh.
That
thing was on like the 3rd pick in all the other divisions, I think.
Yeah. No.
Like
round 3 Ho-Oh.
Everyone wanted to run Ho-Oh. I don't know what
I was super considering taking it for round 1, but I wanted my Uber.
Well, yeah,
really bad. So.
Yeah.
Round 3 Ho-Oh's nuts.
Like it went pick 1 in Victini.
Yeah, I believe. Yep.
And it was a snipe from the guy who wanted it pick 2.
Mm-hmm.
Ho-Oh's one of those mons where it's like, I think it's incredible. I think you got to play it right. But people are like, oh, you're gonna run boots on it every week. No, you don't. You have Regenerator. Like
you don't need boots every week.
You don't care.
Yeah.
That's really good removal. Like he has good removal to port Ho-Oh with, so you don't need boots by any means.
Yeah.
Technically you got it.
I think Terra Dragonite was the right play at pick 1. This was probably this was the mon that we're getting the most slack on, allowing to Terra. I do not think it's going to be broken. I think it's going to be the best Terra captain. I don't think it's going to be broken.
Someone's got to be the best Terra captain anyway. So,
yeah.
And I'd argue like even things like King Gambit might be the best Terra captain over it even, but
which is
King
fair.
Gambit, I feel like too one-dimensional to be.
Really it's one-dimensional, but
it's so good.
It does have one trick super well. Don't get me wrong, but like you see it, you know exactly what's going to do. You don't necessarily have that with Dragonite. Even
true.
Like
King Gambit's one of those Pokemon you plan for, and then you get 12 turns in, you go, oh crap.
Yeah.
I lose. My bad.
Zethus is saying, I feel like this team probably has every resource to handle any team with the right planning, and I completely agree with that.
100%.
Speed tiers wise, it has everything, right? It has Dragapult, has Masquerade, has a couple of those 100, a couple 90s, couple 80s, right? Has all the speed tiers you need. Bulk wise, has Tinglu Tentacruel, which is an incredible defensive core. Now,
Yes.
By the way, plus Ho-Oh. Like, that is...
Plus the Ho-Oh. Yeah, don't forget about that one.
Plus the Ho-Oh. To be fair, Ho-Oh
special
does
defense
tentacle.
is insane.
It's ridiculous. Now, I think, like, Fizz Def, I think it's going to struggle maybe a tiny bit. Ting-Lu has a good Fizz Def stat, obviously. And then there's Jirachi, which Jirachi's probably going to be running Rocks, T-Wave, Wish a lot of the time as, like, Fizz Def. It's not perfect, right, but I think it's just enough to be, like a great Fizz Def. Offensively, right? Special offense, I think, is lacking a little bit. Best you've got is Gardevoir, and I think Gardevoir is great, but doesn't have a good speed tier. So you're going to have to kind of run that Scarf if you want to run it offensively. You do have a good special attack in a Ho-Oh, but you kind of want to run Sacred Fire more often than not. You can run Special Jirachi, but it typically doesn't. You do get, you can drop Dracos with Dragapult, obviously. So that's probably going to be the go-to special attacker there, but I think it's a little bit weak on the special offense side, but I think that's made up with the raw power of Terra Dragonite. Like, I think you're like, oh, here's a big weakness. No, there's not. It's Terra Dragonite can fill that role.
Yeah, definitely.
Typing wise,
it's like, one of those mons to be offensive.
Yeah. It's like a little bit weak to Fairy. Like, there's 5 Fairy weaknesses, but at the same time, Ho-Oh can deal with that. Tentacruel and Jirachi are they're gonna come a lot. Dragonite's gonna Terra out of that, and Primeape's not a real mon. I like a little bit of an ice weakness, but again, Dragonite can Terra out of that. Ting-Lu doesn't really care. You have the Tentacruel and the Jirachi. Plus Meowscarada is going to be able to Protein its way out of that. I don't know if I love the Decidueye pick in this. I kind of think Decidueye is just like doing the same thing as other mons. Like, Meowscarada is there if you want to hit on the grass type side. Dragapult's there to hit on the ghost type side. Yeah, it does get defog and does get things like Leech Seed and stuff, but you had Bramblegast in this team earlier, which I think worked at least a little bit better. But it does give you a second hazard removal option that isn't Rapid Spin, so it gives you a way to get rid of hazards without a ghost type being able to be immune to it. And hazard setting is fantastic, right? You have Ting-Lu, which is probably the best hazard setter in the game. You have 2 Toxic Spikes using Meowscarada, Tentacruel. This team has everything. It's able to hit super hard on the physical side, and if you play around it right, Dragapult just dropping a Draco with Specs is going to hit ridiculously hard against teams that don't have great Fairy types. This team might be a tiny bit Fairy weak. Like, it had, like, Jirachi and Tentacruel are kind of the 2 options for it. But I can see Terra Steel Dragonite.
I'm gonna say I don't think it's even that Fairy weak because, like I said, Terra Dragonite and then Meowscarada can just Protein out of the Fairy weakness. I mean, it's still gonna take a probably good bet anyways, but like,
yeah.
And then Primeape, it's not a real mind, so like it's not become more like once. So like, I think the being Fairy weak is a bit of a. I don't think it's as nearly as Fairy weak as it looks.
Yeah, well, and I think you agree. Some of the comments are saying APs like this team might struggle with balance builds. And I agree to an extent. I think Ho-Oh is fantastic against balance builds because it's able to stop the special attackers with its bulk and just able to kind of hit it back. It has a great amount of coverage, and it can burn physical attackers pretty easily. So it's kind of able to cripple teams from the inside out if it's able to live long enough. I think the only worry I have with this team is its damage output. Like, you were riding a lot on Dragonite here to do damage for you. Dragapult doesn't want to come offensively every week. Ho-Oh's gonna run defensive most of the time. And then you have mons like Meowscarada that can do it, but they're pretty frail. Like, there's no real like good bulky attacker outside of Ho-Oh here, which people are gonna prep super hard for Ho-Oh. But I also know 6-foot Hex is a great 6-foot hat. That'd be really funny. It's a really tall hat. I know he's a great battler, and I think if you bring the right 6 every week, you're going to be able to deal with it. I think this is the top of the A tier. I don't think it puts out Tom's team, but I think this is a terrifying team.
I absolutely agree.
Team also does have like.
Do we want to put it about a Vortex even? Because like Vortex had a really scary Sun team too.
I think it's probably top of A, right above the Sun, but I could see it.
I think Vortex just edges out a tiny bit, but I can definitely see it going either way.
Yeah, I'll flip a coin in a minute. Poncho, you were saying something right before then.
This team has like also a ridiculous amount of pivot.
Like, yeah. Oh, that's true. A ton of momentum.
It will be able to get into, the D-dancing Dragonite or whatever thing he's planning on killing you with that week.
Yeah, I mean...
He should be able to aggressively get into whatever he wants.
It's got 5 U-turn users and basically 3 good ones in Pult, Jirachi, Meowscarada. It's got Fliptron on Tentacruel. It's got Memento with Gardevoir, Tinglu. I think Memento's going to come more than we'd expect. And still got like...
Tinglu doesn't get... Does Tinglu get Memento?
Yeah.
Does Ho not get U-turn?
No, Ho does not get U-turn.
Why?
I don't know.
It's a bird.
I know. But Tinglu does get Memento.
Wow, it does. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, two Healing Wish users in Jirachi Gardevoir. So he doesn't have to wait for Dragonite late game. You can use Dragonite early, break some shit, then Healing Wish back into it later.
That's true.
My vote is I'm going to put this as the top of A. I think it just edges out Vortex's team a little bit. I think they're very.
I can put it.
Yeah, I think they're very close. And I don't want to play.
I think they're definitely interchangeable at the very least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the teams this season are really close. We're splitting them into 5 tiers, but I think it's a lot closer to 3 tiers.
Yeah, agreed. Ziza said, Ho-Oh makes clicking fairy move risky with regen, most fairies not having rock coverage. Fairy moves always have a chance of being a choice with no profit. Completely fair, and I think I agree. And I think that's what makes it pretty good. Next, I believe, is Arch. Image.
Yes.
This button. Boom. I'll say the team and then let one of you guys start it off. Archdon, the Towering Titans. Should we be saying the team names? I'm not. They're the Carolina Hackers.
I don't think we have them, but we can
see it.
We can start. Yeah, that's it. They have eyes. Archdon, the Towering Titans. This was the Fluttermane round 1 pick, which I think was the absolute right time to take that. Next was Jirachi, followed by Corviknight, Iron Hands, Blastoise, Clodsire, Kyurem, Ursaring, Volbeat. Do not sleep on that Mon. And then a round 10 Deoxys.
Yeah, Fluttermane's a menace. You do not switch into the Ghost Fairy coverage. It doesn't need other moves. It's got those two, and then it has
it has other coverage, but like you really don't need it most of the time.
Yeah, it's just gonna hit you harder with the Moonblast. It's just gonna hit you harder with the Shadow Ball.
Exactly.
Arch.
Same thing with Chi-Yu. It's hitting you with the Fire move. It's hitting you with the Dark move. It doesn't care.
Yep. Arch saying this team's decent and has a bad coach. You make me so mad, dude. You're a good coach. Take it back. I agree. Like what Fluttermane can't do with Chi-Yu can, and like I think that's the core of this team. This is one of the like most obvious bulky offensive teams I've ever seen. Right? You have Iron Hands.
100%.
You have Blastoise, Shell Smash. If you have White Herb, it's still going to take hits. You have Kyurem that doesn't die super easily. You have Corviknight that can obviously Corviknight's a stupid mon that can take a ton of hits and pivot.
As I believe the resident Blastoise user who went 21-2 with it, I didn't run White Herb a single week.
21-2.
Who needs it?
Who'd you play against?
21-2. Well, you're Shaman, so you know.
Fair enough. That's
like
crazy. Though.
It went 21-2. It went 0-1 in playoffs, but we can ignore that. But
that's actually nuts.
I was always a Venusaur believer growing up. Blastoise is now my favorite. He's so big and he's a boy.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But you don't need White Herb. I ran Lum constantly. I ran Boots. I ran. Granted, that was low tier, so nothing can one shot you, but.
But still, I mean,
you don't need it.
This is a team, when I first looked at it, I thought it was okay. The more I've looked at it, the more I've thought this is a very, very good team. Speed tier-wise, you've got Deoxys and Fluttermane, which are wicked fast. You have Chi-Yu that hits out base 100. You have Kyurem at 95 that can also Dragon Dance. You have Volbeat at 85. Dude, I like Volbeat and I like Illumise. I don't think it's ever going to come. But it has a reason to be on this team. It's able to stop setup users with Prankster Encore. You have, like, great low speed tiers for pivoting, you have Iron Hand with Volt Switch and Corviknight with U-Turn. Clodsire, again on this team, being able to really threaten out setup sweepers, being able to be immune to water types that this team doesn't really like taking the hits of. It's able to gunk shot the fairy types that can. I mean, this team's not fairy weak, but you're able to gunk shot those. You're able to earthquake some of the steel types that Fluttermane does and Curum don't like. And Tom got hacks in his Little Cup game, which happens. Sorry, but
unfortunate to hear.
Isn't every burn a hacks in Little Cup? The move was supposed to do 20%. It high rolled did 80%.
Yeah.
Like it's
Cops are nuts in that Little Cup.
I've enjoyed Little Cup, I think, but there's been a couple games where just like nothing I can do. I mean,
you just get high rolled every once in a while, and it feels like you got crit every turn. God damn it.
I don't think this team is perfect. Like, I think there's a couple weaknesses. There's no, like, one specific type super weak to. Again, it's a little bit flying weak, but you have Corviknight that can deal with it. This team is pretty weak to Shadow Sneak with Fluttermane and Deoxys. Your two main waves of fast offense are weak to Ghost. Well, Fluttermane's not actually weak to is it weak? Yeah. Fluttermane's not weak to poison. That's right. I always forget Ghost resists poison. So the two like really powerful offensive mons are weak to Ghost type, and Iron Hands can't use fighting type moves against it. So I think Ghost types are a little bit scary into this team, but you do have a Jirachi just sitting right there that can come in 90% of the time on those mons. Plus, like you have an Earth Ring. I don't think Earth Ring's coming a lot, but it is a Ghost immunity, so you do have it. I think that's one of the only bigger weaknesses I see. And maybe Hazard Setting, but you have a Clodsire that can do it, and you have like Sash Deoxys sets are real. So I really don't think there's any huge glaring weaknesses with this team.
Yeah, I do think Claude probably does need to come more than it wants to, is my kind of one thing on it, because it does. This team benefits a lot from having rocks on its opponent's side.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, and it's got great removal in Corviknight, but like it's defog. Blastoise, is a fine rapid spinner. It's a good rapid spinner. But I don't know. Like I think this team benefits a lot from having rocks on its opponent's side. Just take that 12%, then take the Fluttermane hit, take the 12%, take the Chi-Yu hit. Like I think it's going to match around a lot of the rolls into the higher mons.
Yeah, I agreed. Art said there's a glaring ground weakness, which I agree to an extent. Like, Clodsire and Iron Hands do not want to take ground type moves, and Corviknight is immune, but doesn't like hitting ground types. However, you're big, like, you do have Blastoise, and you do have Curum that can hit them, and you have Chi-Yu, which can Terra out of the fire typing, which, unless you go in Terra Fire, which is real. Like, Terra Fire is a real set on that mon. It's scary. I don't think this team's actually as ground weak as it looks. Plus, you have Ice Beam on Deoxys.
He said Groudon weak, but yeah.
Oh, did you see
ground weak?
Groudon weak, not ground weak?
Yeah, he said Groudon.
Oh.
I think he's concerned about the fire types also hitting the things that
the Corviknight
are
yeah. And the Terra
his resistor.
Okay, I see that.
Yep.
You're gonna struggle to find a team that's not Groudon weak, right?
100%.
And with that being said, and I know Arch already played the Groudon team, Fluttermane is boosted by Groudon. Iron Hands is boosted by Groudon. Like,
True.
This team...
Iron Hand boosted by... You mean Chi-Yu, right?
I did mean Chi-Yu. I always forget Iron Hands and Fluttermane don't have the same ability. It's specifically the ground and fire coverage, which I see, right? Chi-Yu can only really deal with one of the two at the time. I think Blastoise can deal with that for the most part. If not, maybe Curum. I agreed. I think there will be a weakness to a ground type with fire coverage or a fire type with ground coverage. I think you can use Chi-Yu to deal with that for the most part. Each week you need to. Whether that's a Scarf to outspeed it, or you're just running it bulky like AV, you're bulky with Citrus Berry or whatever. It's a weakness for sure, and it's going to have to be prepped around, but I don't think it's detrimental to this team. Where do you guys think this goes in the tier list? I know where I think it goes, but I'm gonna let you guys say it first.
I think it's a solid B tier team. I think it's it's in the middle of the B tier.
I can get behind that. Yeah.
I think it's a little better than that. I think it's a low A tier team because I think there's very few weaknesses we can find. But I can meet you in the middle and put it at high B if you want.
That works.
Yeah.
Bam.
I'm cool with high B.
Cool. Let me get the next thingy up.
Big Will's team.
Let's make sure I'm not missing any comments, but I don't think I am. Can you guys see the comments or no?
Yeah, I keep seeing Seafit bragging about it on, and I hate it.
Okay, next is the Will, because we already went through Tom. I'm excited about talking about this team. I think there's something interesting in this team. Okay, Big Will, East Coast Crooks. Wow, cool logo. Where'd you get that? I wonder. Oh, wow, cool logo, Tom, too. That's crazy.
I wonder who made those.
That's crazy. Okay. We'll start off with the Magirna, which I absolutely love that mod. I think it's cool. Followed by a Terra Raging Bolt with its nuts. Then it's Deoxyspeed, Rillaboom, and Sneasler paired together. Crocodile, Vaporeon, Talonflame, Fortress, Sableye. My thoughts on this team are its top 5 are terrifying, its bottom 5 are weak.
Yeah. I agree with that.
He's got so much speed where he wants to be. He's got super strong priority.
Yeah, he's got freaking Gorilla Sneasler, that classic combo.
Yeah, the Deoxyspeed. He's got the speed he needs.
Damn, has a lot of
or even the priority of Raging Bolt.
Yeah,
and even Sableye, it's prankster shenanigans.
Plus, if you need to, it's got Shadow Sneak Sucker Punch, too.
True.
With the 75 base attack stat, not horrible.
That's higher than I thought it was, but okay.
Yep. It's got 75, man. It's kind of crazy. Like, I think this team's going to be really strong. I think Magirna plus Bolt plus Rillaboom being able to weaken Earthquakes, I think is fantastic. I think Deoxyspeed is going to want to run Hazard maybe a little bit more than it wants to, but that's okay because it's a very good Hazard setter. And I think Sneasler in terrains, it's going to be able to outspeed a couple of those speed boosting Paradox mods, which is fantastic. I love Crocodile. I don't think it's great in UBERS. Check out the week 1 game, though. check out the score of that.
Yeah.
I think Vaporeon is not a good
week
mod. Sorry, what'd you say?
I'll say, week 1's got some nice crook gameplay. But go ahead.
I think Vaporeon's weak in UBERS and Paldea. I like it, but I think it's easy to beat. I think Talonflame has a niche, but there are just too many dragon types that are going to be able to beat it out. I love Fortress, and I think it's a very good slow Volt Switcher, but I think it struggles to stay alive. And I actually think Sableye might come to a couple more games than we expect.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
AP, I agree. Vaporeon Wish Passion to Magirna goes crazy. Give me one electric type, and it's Dawn.
He's already got the Raging Bolt.
I know.
You gotta pick a different one.
He has 2 of the mods that kind of beat Vaporeon, though. Raging Bolt and Rillaboom.
Yeah. Please.
I think this team has a lot of offense where it needs to, right? Rillaboom, Sneasler on the physical side. It's got on the special side, it's got Magirna, which Magirna is ridiculous. It's got the best typing in the game. It's got fantastic defensive stats with Volt Switch to pivot, and it's got incredible offensive coverage. Plus, it can spike stack you. Terra Raging Bolt, not many Pokemon beat that. It needs to run the right Terra every week. If it doesn't, it starts to struggle a little bit. But you can't beat it with speed because it's got Thunderclap unless you're a ground type. And then if you're a ground type, you run Terra Grass, Terra Flying, Terra Water, right? By the way, AP, I'm saying this. There's weakness to this team. This is one of the top 5 teams in my mind. I think the top 5 do that much for it that okay, I'm okay with bringing a not great bulky water because I have Terra Raging Bolt, Magirna, Deoxys Speed in front of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also has got 8 of his mons have pivot. I guess if we're counting, I assume that's Deoxys Speed's teleport on that list, but it technically has pivot.
I think you're right. Let me look.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's teleport.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
It's, Magirna can Volt Switch, Fortress can Volt Switch, Bolt can Volt Switch. You've got 3 U-Turners and Real Boom, Sleeve Talonflame, all very good and want to run that. Got Flip Turn and Vaporeon, plus Baton Pass and Vaporeon. If you're against a ground immune mon, and you've got Teleport and Dio Speed, which don't sleep on. Teleport is one of the greatest moves in draft. It's not good on Deoxys Speed, but it's one of the greatest moves in draft.
I love it on the slow bros.
Yep. Teleport is awesome. Having a guaranteed slow pivot is incredible. And Fortress gives you that. Like, I don't think the bottom 5 are super strong, but this is just a top heavy team. And I think that's the better way to draft in UBERS. Like, and Crook comes with a purpose. Talonflame comes with a purpose. Fortress comes with a purpose, right? They all do what they need to do in any one given matchup.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You probably bring the top 5, and then you just snag your bottom one that has the good matchup, and you just let it ride.
I just opened a setting on my computer I've never seen before. That's okay. I got rid of it. And defensively, there's very few things I see wrong with this team. Maybe it's a ghost type weakness, but you don't have a lot of weaknesses to ghost. You just don't. It's hard for you to resist it without Crook. That's it. I think his hits.
He technically has a ground weakness, but he's got a Rillaboom, so everyone's got to be running high horsepower on everything.
Yeah, he's got a Rillaboom, and he can Terra out of that weakness with Raging Bolt for sure.
Yep.
I think this is the bottom of A. I think it has an argument to go above the other two, but I do think 6-foot Hexes and Vortex's team are better just because they can do some more immediate damage. But what do you guys think?
I agree with bottom
exactly where I put it.
Cool. Perfect. Oh, wow. Cool logo. Okay, I'm just going to delete that one because I made it a weird size. Who is next? I got to click this button. We're getting to the end of it.
We only have 4
the last 2 teams, right?
4 teams.
4 teams.
Oh, 4? Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. 4 teams. My bad.
You said this is Stall?
Yep.
Stall. This is a Palkia team, right? Yeah. Stall, you're in the chat. Say hi, bud. Okay. Stall, the LA Kingdra. I also made this one a weird size. That's okay. Palkia round 1, followed by Great Tusk, Heatran, Ogerpon, normal form, Rabombi, Reggie, Eliki, Zora, Kasui, Tornadus, Terra Gambit, and Frugraph. One of you guys take her away while I go get some water. I drink water like it's nothing.
All right.
He's got the best rapid spinner in the game. He's got one of the best hazard setters in Great Tusk. It's just that mon's fantastic.
It's just such a good versatile mon. Yep.
It does everything besides take special hits, but oh well.
We got other things for that, actually I guess special hits kind of I think you do struggle a little bit against strong special attackers with this.
I think his whole team struggles against special attack for sure.
Yeah.
Because he is also running a very, very offensive team that I think is hoping to clean up with Gambit in the back end.
Yeah, so it's not. Yeah, it's a fine thing to have. This kind of team. You got the Rabombi for webs. You got good hazard setters.
He's got priority in Tornado or Prankster in Tornadoes that Tailwind, Rain Dance. I don't know, whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's all saying it's Green week. What more could you ask for?
Yeah. If Greedent's the only thing you're weak to, I think you're doing pretty good.
Exactly.
Stall, we don't need to worry about your record last season, man. It was a blip. You were hustling us. Don't sweat it. I mean, I agree. I think this team's just frail. I think. By the way, he stole Great Tusk from me, and I was really mad. I want a Great Tusk over Urshifu, but it's fine. I'm not petty. I'll just beat you if I play you. But I think defensively this team just struggles a bit. Like, Palkia can do the job, and Water and Dragon's a very good defensive typing, but you don't want to run your Uber super defensively every week.
Defensively struggles, but I think that's not a bad thing solely because you have Gambit in the back.
Right, which is fair, right? It's okay to lose a couple mons if you boost up the ability to beat Gambit. What I think I worry about with this team is, to beat Gambit, you kind of need a really good fighting type. And even though it can tear it into something that beats fighting types, you just want something that can resist the sucker punches. And you have that in Great Tusk, but you are also using Great Tusk to defensively check a couple more mons that I want to on this team. This was a team I wrote a couple notes on specifically, because, like, now, I've never drafted Gambit, so I don't 100% know how it works. And Art said this would be a great VGC team, and I completely agree.
It's Stall. The Stall is the VGC champion. What would you expect?
Yeah, right.
He's waiting for our next season of VGC draft.
You're right. I think Terra King Gambit is really good under the right circumstances, and can just clean up teams pretty comfortably. But this team, like, kind of struggles to beat fighting types. Like, it has Rabombi, which can do it, and it has Tornadus.
But, like, neither of them are good.
Neither of them are super bulky, so they're not going to be living a ton of hits. And I think fighting types are this team's weakness, right? I think there's a lot going for this team, too. I think people are going to sleep on Webs with 2 Defiant Mons. Webs Ogerpon and Webs King Gambit. People are going to be terrified to click Defog. And then without that, Great Tusk is outspeeding way more mons. Heat Trend is outspeeding way more mons. Zoroark Kasui is going to be able to run Specs instead of Scarf. It's going to be able to run Life Orb. Palkia is going to be able to outspeed some of the really fast Ubers and just smack them. And dudes are not going to want to click Defog. People are not going to click Rapid Spin because they don't know where the Zoroark is. I think, like, the modes of this team are very strong. I just wish there was, like, a better fairy or, like, a bulky psychic type.
I agree.
Yeah, I think stuff like Iron Valiant.
Oh my god, Torn
kind of just
define as well.
It does get yeah.
yeah. Don't leak it. I also have a Tornadus. Don't leak the Defiant set. That's definitely.
Arch is saying Gambit plus Zoroark is super underrated. Agreed. I don't love Zoroark Kasui, but I think that's because I don't know how to use Zoroark mons. They are very good if you can use them right, and Zoroark Kasui is much better. I think this team falls into a couple overvalued Pokemon. I don't think Heatran's going to be great in Ubers. I don't think Ogerpon Teal is going to be great in Ubers without Terra. I think Great Tusk will be good, Palkia will be good. Regieleki, it's not great without Terra. It has a purpose. It's super fast. It can be a fast, strong electric type, and it has screens. Plus, it can go boom. But you don't need it for a spinner. Like, there's a couple mons here that I don't see if they totally fit. And there's Fergaraf, which is good in doubles, not in singles. Like I think this team just doesn't have a ton of, like, great synergy, and it's a little bit fairy weak along with being fighting weak. However, and the other reason I think that is because you want to save King Gambit for the back 3 out of 5 games, right? You want that to be a late game Supreme Overlord Sucker Punch Sweeper. And because of that, your bulky offense is not going to be in the foreground, so things are either going to be super frail or not do enough damage.
Right.
AP said Heatran is definitely good in Ubers. I don't play enough Ubers to know. I think Heatran is not great in Paldea, but can be used very well. Stahl said, my territories came down to between Ogre and Gambit. I chose Gambit for the versatility, and I kind of regret not giving it to Ogre. I disagree. I think it was the right call to give it to Gambit. I think it's like 100%.
I think, yeah.
I think Terra Ogerpon is great and gives you a speed boost, but Gambit was 100% the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
this is another one of those teams where I think it, attempts to get the sweep at the end with the Gambit after, you already had to deal with the webs off of Rabombi, the Tailwind off the Tornadus, and then just the Palkia, the Great Tusk, clicking whatever button they want behind, being able to outspeed your entire team with those kind of setup options.
Yeah, agreed.
And then, eventually when they fall, King Gambit's the one to, finish the job.
Yeah. This is one of the teams where it's like Palkia, Tusk, Heatran, Rabombi, Gambit are probably going to come every week. Maybe at least Palkia, Tusk, Heatran, Gambit. The rest of the Montum, like, they fill a niche, but I'm like, maybe just don't have enough power output. It's a very fast team, which I think is really good, right? You have Regieleki, you have Rabombi, you have a bunch of other Monta 100 and above, and you have webs. I don't think webs are necessary in this team, but I think still really work. What I think I want to see in this team, though, is drop the Eleki, drop the Torn, drop the Rabombi, and just get one more, like, super powerful Mon. However, that's just how I play. And not everyone's going to agree with me. So I think for what this team is, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree completely. But
I can
get behind their playtime. Like, I think it totally works fine as is.
Mm-hmm.
No one's getting rid of hazards and Ubers. Those webs are staying. They're gonna be a problem. Palkia behind webs is gonna be.
Yeah, Palkia behind webs. I think is something that we're sleeping on a bit. And they have one of the best rapid sprinters in Great Tusk, so there we go.
Exactly.
Where do you guys think this fits? I think this fits kind of right in the middle of B tier, but I don't know where in B tier.
What is Mr. Do I put it above Mr. TJP? I guess that was the super hyper offense.
I think between TJP and Common Boy is a good place, yeah.
I can rock with that.
I can see that, yeah.
Cool. Next, let me delete this one too because it's a weird size. AP says you're tripping, but I don't remember what he said that about. It might have been about Heatran. I don't remember. But we're gonna ignore him anyway. It rains? Yeah. Okay. We got Rain. Rain. Are you in the chat? I don't think you are. I don't know if it should be Rain or Rainy. I don't know if he cares.
Or Ryan? Or no, I guess.
Oh, maybe it is.
Yeah,
Ryan.
I have no idea.
I've been saying Rain.
I don't think it's Ryan. Then I would. No, that.
I don't know.
No, I think you're right.
But
maybe.
I think you're correct.
I don't
know. Okay. This is an interesting team, and I've also already played this team. Rain started out with Solgaleo, and then Zamazenta, so two of the doggies. Got Quackleval, then got their gold Uber, Giratina, the regular form, then Ursula Bloodroom, Terra, Tornadus, Therian, Overquill, Alchemy, Rampardos, Dugong. So I think this is a cool team. Like, I think this is one of the more interesting dynamics, especially getting Solgaleo, Zamazenta, Quack before getting your Uber, right? This is a team that is top 6 almost every week. It is Solgaleo, Zamazenta, Quackleval, Giratina, Blood Moon, Tornadus, Therian. Those 6 are terrifying. That is not easy to beat.
Yeah, it's definitely 6. And of those 6, none of them set hazards.
Is it? Yeah, right. I remember playing.
It is just Rampardos.
Yeah, it's Rampardos for rocks and Overquill for spikes. But I don't know if that's a huge weakness, right? We've been talking about it. We don't think. I did just call Solgaleo a dog. What else is it? Is it cat? It's Leo. Oh, I guess that means cat. Right?
No, it's got 4 legs. It's got a tail. It's clearly a dog.
Gosh, it's like the Johto trio
it's a
all
lion.
over again.
Okay, it's a lion, which is close to a dog. I know it's a cat, but you can't be shocked that I said that. Yeah, like we were saying in Ubers. Yeah, I know it's a lion, but if between dog or cat, dog's fine. We've been saying hazards aren't super valuable or as valuable in other formats as they are. They don't matter in Uber, so I think it's okay that they don't have a ton of setters.
I think you have to at least threaten it at least. You might never bring them, but you at least have to threaten them.
I agree. And it's one of those things like Solgaleo can't set rocks into steel type. Blood Moon can't set rocks or spikes, even though it's a ground type. Like he has the typing that don't fill those roles. Lion is feline, not cat. TJP, explain what that means to me, because I think you're proving me right. but doesn't feline mean cat? I don't know.
Yeah, it does mean cat, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But like not great hazard setting, which I think bumps it down a couple a point or two, but has great removal in Quackleval Giratina. I think Quackleval might actually be kind of the weak link here. Not saying it's a bad mon, but you have two physically offensive fighting types back to back that kind of want to fill the same role in being that bulky offense. Quackleval's like it can snowball, but I don't think it's going to do fantastic in UBERS. But it is a good bulky water type, right? Giratina is a fantastic Uber. It's one of the lower tier, lower point gold Ubers, but so it's not like one of the better ones. But you have Solgaleo Zamazenta to deal with that. It gets Defog, gets Pain Flick, gets Will-O-Wisp, and can hold an item. I do think Giratina Origin is the cooler one and the better one. But Giratina absolutely has like a lot going for it here, and it works really well with Zamazenta, Solgaleo, and Ursula and the Blood Moon. They all kind of help counteract their weaknesses.
And I think Torn T is probably also one of the better Terra captains out there. That thing, is just being pure flying is already really strong, but being able to have the coverage move for whatever it needs off of its pretty fast
and be straight Terra flying because it's very savage. A lot of these teams are pretty flying weak.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, like Terra flying to Hurricane if you really want to deal some damage.
That's what I was terrified of week 1, right? Like, I think outside Dragonite, Torn T is probably the best Terra captain. King Gambit has a shout, but I think Torn T is a little bit better, just because it can do a little bit more. It's super scary. It's got a great speed tier. In fact, speed tiers on this team, I think, are incredible. You got Zamazenta 138, you got Torn at 121, a little bit of a gap to Solgaleo, but then still you've got 50, 60, 70, 80s, and 90s all filling in there. I don't think there's any huge weaknesses outside of Fairy Week. I think this team's really, really Fairy Weak. Now they have Solgaleo, which can deal with it, but my one point was most Fairy types have offensive Fire type moves, and Solgaleo is very bulky, but its Spadef is its worst stat, so only having that to deal with Fairy Touch I don't think is a bad thing, but I think you start to struggle with Zamazenta, Quack, and Giratina all being weak. But Terra Steel or even Terra Poison Torn T is a real Terra type. Like, that can come off.
For sure.
I just think you're going to kind of be forced into doing that every now and again against, like, I think Zacian runs this team, like through the ground.
I can see that.
For sure. Just outspeeds the entire team, and its defenses are good, but, like, you only take the hit once on Zacian anyway, if it's not resisted.
Yep, exactly. I think Overquill's cool. I think Alchemy actually is decent now for, like, if you want a bulky fairy type. Rampardos I like, but I don't think it's going to come in order. I think it's Dugong well. But there is a real Trick Room mode to this team, too, which I want to talk about. Giratina, Solgaleo, Ursula, Blood Moon, Rampardos is a really good Trick Room core. I know 97 speed doesn't sound great for Trick Room, but Solgaleo runs Trick Room a lot on the Uber's ladder. Now, obviously, on the ladder versus draft is a very different thing. But overall has some decently slow mons that are still pretty powerful. And Solgaleo is a great Trick Room user because it gets Morning Sun as well, and it is a good bulky mon. Psychic and Steel is really bulky, so, like, it's really bulky. It's a great defensive typing.
It even has teleport, so we can just slow pivot out.
Oh my god, it does.
Defensive mod you have.
Oh, that's kind of terrifying. That's even scarier than what I thought it was before I played against it. I think this team's like an average team. I think it has a lot going for it, but I think it's just very predictable. I think you're always going to see bulky offense Zamazenta or speedy offense Zamazenta. I think you're always going to see support Giratina. You're always going to see something like Specs or Throat Play Blood Moon. You're always going to see fast offensive Torn. I think it's just predictable. Not saying predictable is bad, but it is hard to get creative with this team. I think I could be proven wrong.
I think you're pretty right on that it's going to be very similar sets.
I agree.
That being said, I don't know where to put it. This was the one I didn't know where to put because I think it's a good team.
This was my 1D tier team.
This was your 1D tier? Okay, fair enough. I don't think it's quite D tier, but
I think it's 6 Pokemon and pretty linear 6 Pokemon at that.
I guess this team's pretty ground type week too.
I can see that argument.
This team is pretty ground week, huh? Because it's only Torn.
Yeah.
And Torn is the Terra captain, so it's going to Terra into a ground weakness. Damn, wait, that's actually a huge problem for this team. Does Earthquake spam? Matt sure loves Trick Room. He mentioned it in almost every team. Not true. I'm just saying, if it has a good Trick Room option, it's not a bad thing. I'm okay to put it bottom. I do think it's better.
You can put it bottom of C if you want, but I would probably have it as...
Yeah, but it would be cool to fill it all.
I'm pretty sure by the end of it, it'll be the last one.
Okay, I'll put it there for now.
Do we want to run in D?
Yeah, I'll put it in D. Sorry, Rain. Well, maybe you'll move me. AP said it's better than Matt teams. I disagree. Moving on.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next, I don't think I think my team's. Hey, go watch week 1, see what happened. I won't say anything else. Who's next? Is this Niv?
Nivs. This is the true D tier team. I think I'm at least last, maybe 15th best team in the league.
I think Niv should actually quit draft. I think this was
D tier for dog shit. I agree, Niv.
Stall sent me something. Stall, I'll check that out in 2 seconds. Let me talk about this team and then hear what he said. Okay, Nivka, round 1 Qianpao, which I think is actually kind of cool. Then Iron Valiant, and then Terra Iron Moth, then Samurai Hisui, and then made 80 billion Grace transactions. Originally didn't draft a gold tier Uber. But in this draft, got Zekrom, which is awesome. Then Iron Crown, Serena, Quag, Mesprit, Pincurchin. You guys chat away while I check my messages real quick.
Ground week. Like... It is.
Yeah.
It's Serena's the answer.
Yeah, Serena. You got Mesprit too. It's got Levitate.
Yeah. But Mesprit's fine.
Iron Moth.
Not a big fan of Mesprit.
Grass are flying.
Yeah. Other than that, like if they don't have an easily spammable ground type, this team, hits like a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Zekrom sets up and everything. Samurai gets the free spikes. Iron Moth is a menace, especially as Terra.
And
Iron Valiant doesn't have.
I don't think this is super. I don't think this is super ground week. Like obviously Zekrom doesn't want to take it in order to crown, in order to bring Kirchen, but you're terroring out of that with Moth often, and you've got Qianpao, Samurai, Quagsire, Serena, that can all hit ground types for super effective damage. Now,
yeah, they can take
maybe
them
it's
on
not
for sure.
Crazy, but like you don't have a great ground check outside of Serena, which you don't want to bring every week. But if you're running like Terra Grass Iron Moth, which I think is a really good Terra type on it, it's immediately not as ground weak.
I believe week 1 he brought Terra Grass Iron Moth.
I think did he end up bringing that? I told him not to bring that.
Yeah. Oh. Honestly, I don't
remember if he
that game. I don't remember. I thought it was. Maybe it wasn't. Did he switch it?
I can't
No,
remember.
he brought Terra Poison. My bad.
Yeah, that's what I told him to bring. And you know what? Maybe he should have brought Terra Grass.
Maybe.
A lot of comments on this one. Tom said, this team's insane. I think Ceramont needs to be swapped for a better removal. It's only Serena to remove. I agree to the most part. I think Samurott is a great Mon. I just don't think it's necessary in this team. Yeah, he did
lose. Do we have any other high tier removal left?
Not really.
I don't think we do we?
There wasn't a whole lot of removal in the whole draft, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree, AP. I think Mesprit could come to a couple games here, even if it's like a lead rock ceiling wish user. But I get it. But every team has a Mon that they're not going to bring.
Yeah.
I agree with Tom saying it's pointless here. I don't think pointless, but agreed. I'd like to see it gone. I think Samurot's great, but I just don't think it's as good in UBERS. I just think...
Well, he's already...
He's
already got his spammable dark types in Qianpao. He's already got his, bulky water and Quagsire. Like
exactly.
It's Qianpao and Quagsire if you combine them into the same Pokemon.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the offense of in electric terrain. Now, the problem in electric terrain with Pincurchin, Iron Valiant, Iron Moth, Iron Crown, Zekrom is just terrifying. Because not only can they all do a lot of damage, defensively they all do kind of help check each other. The problem is you're forced to bring Pincurchin a lot. And that is not a good Pokemon. It looks like it would be better than it is stat-wise. It is not a good Pokemon.
Why doesn't it get Volt Switch? What were they doing? It's an electric type. Don't they all get that?
It's stupid.
It's weird, yeah.
And it's like
its pivot is Memento.
Yeah, which is good. It's good on like a slow bulky mon.
It's fine.
But you're gonna bring it in, click Memento, and then once train's gone, you're done. Like this team is great picking off.
You get 7 turns of it.
It gets 3 good U-turn users, 2 good Volt Switch users, right? I think Zekrom is fantastic. That's one of my favorite UBERS, not like competitively, just because I like that mon. I don't know if it's going to be great. I think it has potential to be very, very good, especially in terrain. And Zesis was like, has a decent to be a good manual electric terrain user, which I don't actually hate that idea. I think there's something interesting in that. I just think this team's offense is great. It's so frail. It
is very frail.
It's so frail. Its bulk is Iron Crown and Zekrom. That's not. I don't think that's enough.
And Mesprit, but Mesprit,
like,
I had it in low tier, and it also wasn't a bulky Pokemon even in low tier.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah.
It's like Serena can do it, but only wants to come to 2 games at a 9. Mesprit only wants to come to 2 games at a 9. Quagsire can do it, but put a grass type move on anything and it's gonzo. Again, I think offensively Chanpao does a ton of damage to a lot of the Ubers, which I think is cool. I think Iron Valiant and Iron Moth paired together is fantastic. I think Zekrom being able to hit Bolt Strikes and Outrages can do a ton because you can deal with the Fairy types with Iron Crown and Iron Moth pretty well. But I just think I think Samurott needs to go. Maybe you can just get rid of Mesprit just to get another 1-pointer, and then get something 20 points or lower.
Do you switch the Serena for a 3-point Cragnol? You keep the Levitate, still a Rapid Spinner.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Cragnol. It's not a good mon, but it hits the 105 speed.
Isn't Cragnol
at least threatens Dragon types?
Yeah, Cragnol's gone.
Yeah.
Cragnol's
Cragnol.
No.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk to him about that after this. Damn, never mind.
But
I also grabbed Cragnol because I think that mon's awesome.
I think this team can be really good if we drop the Samurott and one of the other mons to get an actual bulky mon and maybe one that has removal. Without that, I think it might just be a little too frail. There's 6. The first 3 are all glass cannons, right? Which is fine,
yes.
But it's not going to cut it.
Mr. TJP probably does say the correct thing. He probably could bring Avalugg instead as his.
Dude, I don't hate it though.
As his low tier Rapid Spinner.
I don't hate it. Cryo does not suck, Tom. Cryo's trying its
Cryo's awesome.
Jesus said, a minor nice thing is that many Pokemon here resist Ice Spinner, making it harder to move terrain, which is true. Once terrain's up, it's going to be difficult for it to get down safely. So if you do bring Terrain Extender Pincurchin and you bring Pal, Valiant, Moth, Zekrom, Crown, it can do a lot. I just think this team is really one-dimensional, has a ton of power, and a lot of these mons can do different things, but it's one-dimensional in how it wants to run, and if you can play around that. Rillaboom beats this team in and of itself. Indeedee can beat this team in and of itself, if played correctly. So I think this is...
That's assuming you're entirely leaning into the Pincurchin. The Pincurchin does not need to come.
That's true.
It won't come.
Yeah.
And it might not come in those weeks where they've got the Rillaboom or the Indeedee or something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, those are actually real Pokemon, unlike Pincurchin, which is I don't know, a butt. I don't even, what is this thing? A little spiky butt.
It's
I don't know.
sea cucumber, right?
It's an urchin, sea urchin, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what's Pukamuku? That's a sea cucumber. What is a sea cucumber?
Yeah.
The sea cucumber. They're in the zoo. I don't know.
That's a sea cucumber.
Something. This is an animal that exists. That's about all I know.
That thing's kind of gross looking. All right.
Yeah.
Doing its best.
A lot of underwater things.
But peep the new logo. That's cool. I like this one more. I think
Oh,
this is.
true. This is the wrong logo.
No, this is the right logo. This is the right logo.
Well, not on the Cork Drivers one. He's not an Iron Crown anymore.
Oh no, oh. In the tier list, it's the right one, but not
Oh,
right.
Okay.
I think this team's bottom of B, but like bottom of B.
I think that's where I put it. Yeah.
Like
top of C, bottom of B. That's
yeah,
where I put it.
And I think I want to put it in B tier because I do like it.
He is now going to call our stream rigged, which does suck. So we could put in E for him, but
we can put it here, so my team's better. I'll put it bottom of B.
I heard him upstairs. He said it's rigged.
Did he really? That's awesome.
Yes.
And then by the way, I knew Niv had a roommate that was in PDL. I didn't realize it was you.
Yeah, it's me and Admiral in Demon.
I knew there were multiple of them. Where's Tog? Tog, you don't get to say a word here.
Yeah, no, I'll let you guys talk about it. Yeah.
And I'll say the team, and Poncho, I'll let you start it off.
But I remember this team.
This is one just like whether I think it's good or not. I think it's just cool. You just take it away.
That's the opposite of what I was going to say. I think aesthetically, this is the most gross-looking team I've ever seen in my life. I hate the design of every single Pokemon here.
Oh.
I absolutely hate the origin forms. They are disgusting. Mamoswine's cool. Typhlosion, Hisui, that's cool. Nothing else. Eggpunk.
To be fair, I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, they were kind of gross. Oh, Mamo's cool.
Mamo's cool. He's a big round boy.
Yeah.
Everything else I hate the design of.
All right, let's talk about it. So it started off with Palkia, but has both Palkia Origin and Dialga Origin, which whether or not they look cool or not, I think it's cool to have them both. Next, Galarian Slowking, then Terra Zarude, which is, I keep saying this is probably one of the best Terra captains, but again, Terra Zarude's one of the better ones. Thundurus, Mamoswine, Sylveon, Typhlosion, Hisui, Conkeldurr, Spidops. You take it away first, Poncho.
I gotta respond to AP. No, I do not like horses. I've spent much time around horses. I don't like them.
What? I love horses, and I've spent time around them.
No, I don't like horses. They're a pain in the ass to work with. They break everything. They're dumb as rocks.
Yeah, but they're cute, and when you have one named Tucker, he's awesome.
I never had one named Tucker. I had one named Prince, and he laid on his side all the time because he's a pain in the ass.
Maybe that's your issue. You don't have a horse named Tucker.
That's my point.
Yeah, I'll get on that.
Todd, you play soon.
I think the team's good.
Todd plays in like an hour, doesn't he?
I do. Yeah.
Maybe I'll stay
that's true.
live. Who knows? Maybe I'll stay live for that battle.
I think my stretch right for my game, but we can talk about it.
I think Zarude's a fantastic Terra. It's slightly faster in all the Ubers. It's bulkier than it should be. It hits pretty hard. It's got good moves. I think it's a great Terra.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
For sure. I'm excited to use it.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Yeah, this like
Thundurus is awesome.
I think Palkia Origin, I think you got robbed. I do not think it's worth 28 points, nor do I think it's even a good Uber.
I think so either, but like I've also really want to use it, so like
which is totally like I got Giratina Origin not because I think it was the best option left because I really wanted to use it. I think Palkia Origin and Dialga Origin suck. I think they're both bad Pokemon. However,
I think I'll say I think I agree. Dialga Origin. I think Palkia Origin can do some work. I think Palkia's all right.
I get it. They just don't have, and like, they don't. Are they item locked?
They are item locked.
So they're both item locked.
I had it on my team, and then I dropped it for regular Palkia.
Yes, they're both item locked. They both have bad abilities, and they both have good typings. Struggles to out damage stuff. I think Palkia is better because it has that 120 speed tier, and I think these just said that too. It's really fast, and that is one of the fast Ubers that outspeeds other Ubers and can click Draco and Hydro Pump, which will do damage to a lot of those Ubers. So I think in that regard,
and it does get that. It gets that free 20% boost to its water and Dragon moves from its item.
Yeah. And similarly with Dialga Origin, I think Dialga is a good Pokemon. And I think Dialga Origin, for not being a gold tier Uber, is really good. Um, I just think not like being item locked, I think hurts it so much. That being said, having slow pivot with Galarian Slowking into Palkia, into offensive Terra Zarude, into Mamoswine with a defense boost is really, really good. I think the Slowking Galar here, I love that pick in this draft. In this team,
yeah, I think Slowking is a menace.
Yep.
I think Slowking could have fit on basically every team. Honestly, I think that Pokemon's be a menace.
And this is one of the teams where it's like, there's not a ton of upfront damage output. You spend a lot of points on the 2 Origin form mons, which are going to have to be your damage dealers, plus Mamoswine. Like, obviously Zarude can do it, but sometimes you're going to want to run like, slightly support Zarude sets. But this is also a team where you can bring any one of these mons any week. I don't think there's a single, like, truly weak link here. Like, Sylveon, you're going to be able to Wish Pass with it. It doesn't get Healing Wish, which sucks, but you are going to be able to Wish Pass with it. Hisuian Typhlosion has 2 immunities. It doesn't get Flash Fire, it only gets Frisk. But still. It still has 2 immunities in normal.
Frisk is still a great ability.
Oh, Frisk is fantastic, don't get me wrong. In fact, I think Frisk is better than Flash Fire would have been.
Overall, yeah.
Like
in draft for sure.
Yeah, in draft. Mamoswine's going to be able to come every week and do a ton of damage. Now, Mamoswine's one of those mons where it's like, it doesn't have a great speed tier, doesn't have a great defensive typing, but if you play it right, it can do a ton of damage. Conkeldur's super bulky fighting type that gets defog. Spidops can give you webs, can give you all of the hazards, really. And Thundurus maybe, I think, could be the weak link here, but I don't even think so. I think it's a really good mod, and it gives you good typing.
I think 90% of the time it saves you against whatever sweeper they have.
Yeah.
Assuming it hits the Thunder Wave.
100%. I think you have great hazard setting, like Spidops in and of itself is fantastic, and you have 2 good, like Dialga and Mamoswine can set rocks. Hazard removal you struggle with because it's only Conkeldurr. However, people sleep on that as a hazard remover, right? If you want to run Defog, Mach Punch, Drain Punch, P-Jab, or Knockoff, like that's a good enough bulky mon. Zarude with Jungle Healing and Slowking with Regenerator. This is going to be a really tough team to break down. Like Dialga's bulky, Palkia is bulky, Slowking can heal itself, Zarude can heal itself. Sylveon can Wish Pass. I use Sylveon Paldea. I do love that mon. I don't think it's great. Because I think there's better fairy types that can Wish Pass. But it's going to be a tough team to break down. If you don't do it quickly, you can get bulk ups off on Zarude very fast. You can get Slowking Calm Minds. You can get, I think Thundurus gets bulk up, but if not, you can get bulk ups on Conkeldurr. You can get in a Dialga and just start clicking moves. Like, I think this team, if you don't play around this team early, it's going to be very tough to deal with. I think this team loses in the early game. It is my thought. I think things are just going to be able to break it down a little quickly if you don't play your cards right.
Right.
And it's Flying Week, but what team isn't?
Yeah, I believe 14 out of 15 have been so far, besides AP somehow.
Yeah, and we only have 14 teams, so that's all of them. That being said, I think this is like a true like mid-tier team. Like, I don't think it's C tier, I don't think it's A tier. I think this is solid, and but that might just be me. AP thinks this team's awful. I think the team's worse than Nivs. Disagree. Ziza said, I think Zarude can fill in gaps in matchups 100%. Zarude is one, I think Zarude and like Torrentee are the 2 that like fill in those holes that teams have. Personally, I think this team goes right above Stall's team, right below Combo Boy's team. What do you think, Pancho?
Wait, which is that in C tier? Is that what we're talking about right now?
No, right here, I think. But if you think it's lower, just tell me.
That was a delay. Who knows? We'll see eventually.
It's the middle of B.
I think it's like straight in the middle.
I think it's I think it may be right above Nivs, but like or right below it. I would put it like low B.
We'll put it range. Above TJP's team.
Okay.
And there we have it, y'all. Did I miss anyone? I think that's all 14.
Should be everyone.
That's 14.
Yeah.
Rainy, Shady, and I have some work to do apparently. The problem with my team is I don't know what to do to fix it. I don't know how to change it. So if anyone watching has transaction suggestions, there's almost not a single mon on that team I'm not willing to let go of outside of the top 3 plus his Bathra. Anything else, I'm like, okay, it can go.
And even I assume this Bathra staying for just the mental.
Oh, his Bathra stays because it's actually a good mon. If anyone has suggestions for my team or anyone's team, let us know. I'm gonna stop streaming in a minute. I've been talking a lot, and I gotta go to the bathroom. But thank you, Poncho, and thank you, Tog, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for watching along. I will edit this and upload this to YouTube. Probably it'll be up tomorrow. Give or take. Rain says, Atake, how to fix my roster. I'll look into it, and we should chat, because I think we should help fix each other's teams. Because we're both the Girachi teams. Rain, I don't think it's the worst team. I tried to argue putting you up here. Tog put you down here for my sake.
I got you.
With that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. I'm gonna roll out. Poncho, Tog, do you guys have anything to say?
I think you about covered it.
I think this draft, even though we split them into 5, I do agree they all are just all high Bs and low Bs.
Yeah,
and we just kind of split it out a little bit. I think they're all pretty decent.
Yeah,
there's a lot that could be that's interchangeable here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I think these 3, like me, Shady, and Rain, like I don't think we're C2 teams. I think we're here. I think these 3, I don't know if they're A2 teams. I think they're here. Like, I think, 10 out of 14 of these teams are these B-tier A2 teams. I think they're really, genuinely all good. I do think these 2 stand out above the crowd a little bit, but I think there's weaknesses that we can all attack a little bit.
Yeah, all these teams are very scary. Just don't let the tier list, say otherwise.
Yeah, this is 3 random people talking about it. All right.
Absolutely.
In the descriptions, you will have any of the coaches' info if they want to upload. I don't even know if I have Vortex in there because he didn't put in his coach info. I feel like he did, and I just didn't see it. Like, I'm gonna oh, I can't even look at it now. Oh well, I'm gonna stop streaming. Peace out.